You know what? Actually, I don't even want to do any intro music. Okay, I just want to kind of get straight to the show. I done had y'all kind of waiting, long as it is. We're supposed to be here at 5. We're here at 5:30. Baby, charge it to the game and not to my heart. Welcome, Conscious Crew. We are here for another riveting episode. It's going to be a lot of moving parts in this show, so I want you guys to really buckle up. Okay, as you guys are moving into the sanctuary, please make sure that you guys are thumbing up the content. Please smash and dash and bully the hell out of that like feature. Liking the video not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another conscious crew member and telling them to get their black sis into the sanctuary. Also, if you enjoy everything that King does here, you can always donate to the platform at $Conscious TV and or paypal.me/Conscious TV, and that's conscious with the Z on the end, spelled just how it is here on the channel. All donation information and social media handles are in the description box below. Also, make sure that you guys have a notification bell set to all. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your MySpace, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or even your personal OF. I don't really give a crap where you lay the link. Just let everybody know that the King is loud, live, and in color. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, what is going on, Conscious Crew? It is Thursday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week. One of the first things I want to do before we get into today's topic, you guys see what's in the title. Oh, yes, this is part 2, child. It looks like Surviving the Jordans. It's going to be playing out loud, live, and in color right here on the Conscious platform. But before we get into my 2 guests tonight, I want to bring up another guest. He is not familiar. He is not unfamiliar to this platform, but I would say you guys don't see him enough. He's one of my very good friends. He is an ordained prophet. He is a hoodoo specialist. He is an African spiritualist. Everything under the sun, baby. He brings all of the things of God full circle. No other than, of course, Cosmic Nuaje. Hi, Cosmic.
Hey there, how you feeling?
I am feeling great. I'm glad to see you on the platform. The people haven't seen you since I think we talked about Travis Scott and Astro World, which had to be about 2 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Well, we just crossed into another year, so add another year to that. So probably about 2 years ago.
You know what? My memory is failing me. That's what I get for turning 40. I'm going to talk to God about that. You actually were here a few months ago when I was in Philly, actually.
Yes.
And I took those edibles and God raptured me right on up to the 7th heaven, baby, and turned me every which way. But loose. Yeah. How are you feeling this year? How is 2026? We're only 8 days in. How is it treating you?
Oh my goodness, like a lover. I'm absolutely enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, you look well.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Minding my own business has been panning out.
Yes. Minding your own business is godly. Okay. Someday I'll be there. Now, before we get there, I want to get you up here because you have some services. You also just got certified in hypnosis. You are now a certified hypnotist, which is insane. So I want to spend a few minutes of you talking to the Conscious Crew, first and foremost, about what hypnosis is, and what one could expect, and also look forward to as it relates to hypnosis.
So, absolutely. Hypnosis is an interesting state. It gets this very fancy word, but we all go through this anywhere between 5 to 7 times a day, every single day. So, hypnosis is actually the most familiar, unfamiliar thing that you know of. If you have found yourself losing track of time in that good hot shower, you've been in hypnosis. If you've been reading a book and didn't hear your name called for the past 5 minutes, you have been in hypnosis. If you have been going to work that you've been going every day for the past 5 years and forgot how you even arrived at work, you have been in hypnosis. You've been in that state that the Bible calls tardema, the deep sleep, the in between. And
Mm.
it's there that we're able to have direct access with our unconscious mind, the software behind our hardware. It's a beautiful thing.
Wow. Hypnosis kind of gets a quacky name because it's become so commercialized. And I remember back in the mid 90s, a lot of the talk shows would have on so-called hypnotists, and they would make people quack like a duck and bark like a dog. But this is not per se the true reality or representation of hypnosis, correct?
No, it's not. It's certainly for TV. It's certainly for clicks, likes, and views, as is most things. But we don't take that seriously. We don't believe that the chef in the famous movie is actually a chef. We know they're acting a part. And so likewise, what we see portrayed on TV, on stage, is just one small monicum of what hypnosis can do. But it's far more powerful than just causing you to quack like a duck and cluck like a chicken. There's far more practical uses for it than just that. Absolutely.
So talk to us about some of those uses, because I remember listening to an interview of the musician Doja Cat, and she spoke about how she actually went to a hypnotist and they helped her to cure her addiction to nicotine. And I know that hypnosis also is integrated into psychiatry and psychology and mental health treatment. So talk to us about the realm of hypnosis and what it can help a person to accomplish within their lives.
Well, the biggest use of hypnosis, and every other thing I'm going to tell you is going to be some aspect of that. Numero uno is hypnosis gives us direct access to the unconscious or the so-called subconscious mind, and that sets it apart in so many other ways.
Mhm,
So hypnosis is able to bypass that surface resistance that comes to the conscious mind, right?
mhm,
Telling you that you can or you won't or you shouldn't or you're to this or you're to that or whatever, and actually just works with the part of the mind that actually runs the habit itself. Right, it runs the belief, it runs the emotions, it runs the automatic response, it runs the parasympathetic nervous system. And so this is where change doesn't just happen, but change sticks here, right? I love to
mhm,
give the example of the fruits and the roots, right? So many other modalities work with the fruit system of the tree, and you'll find yourself just hacking at fruits till that tree dies.
mm,
Or you can deal with the root system of that tree, and it'll affect the bark, the limbs, the branches, the leaves, and everything in between. You've already mentioned hypnosis used for faster behavioral change beyond just so many of the methods today are mostly talk-based methods, and hypnotherapy gets into that as well. But we often find that these produce surface level results and they produce them over time, right? It's going to be years of years of years of this talking it out because it works at the level where the actions and the behaviors can be analyzed, but not always at the level that they can be changed. What I specialize in and what I really love about hypnosis is that it helps to alleviate emotional overload, mental overload, stress,
mm,
anxiety, the very things that we are dealing with in late stage capitalism, which you talk about so often on your platform.
okay,
And so by being able to guide the nervous system into a deeply relaxed state, it's going to lower that cortisol. It's going to balance that dopamine and serotonin levels. It's going to quiet that mental noise and restore that sense of internal control and internal safety. We're living under the boot of 499 years, 466 years of oppression. And that comes with a lack of feeling safe within our own selves, in our own bodies, in our own minds. And so
mm,
I believe, this is why we began the Young Black Hypnotist League, that hypnosis and rest itself is a revolutionary act.
absolutely. Interestingly enough, a lot of scriptures or instances within scripture speak about what we call today the hypnotic state, aka the trance state. We know that Adam allegedly was put into a deep trance, into an altered state of consciousness during the conception of Eve, etc. We also know that the church is good for using hypnosis, even though they don't really label it that, as it relates to music and as it relates to singing and song and dance to rein in the spirit. As someone who is a minister and is a prophet, how have you been able to see hypnosis within now the way that the Christian church does things as it relates to its body?
It's the only thing it does.
It's the only thing.
It's
So emphasize
the only thing
some
it
of
does.
that. Emphasize some of that in terms of so other people can see it from that perspective too.
Sure. So you opened this with an interesting frame. You mentioned about how, growing up, and certainly in the 80s, the 70s, the 90s, we saw hypnosis on TV stage, and they were, barking like dogs and clucking like chickens. On what other stage do we see people barking like dogs and clucking like chickens? Well, I don't know about you, but I came out the old sanctified church, and that was a regular Sunday morning for us, right? And so, what's interesting about this is many of our religious experiences are due to these types of phenomena. And as you and I have been working on a piece called The Supernatural versus the Supernormal. And so often we correlate them together because we've not been instructed, we've not been empowered to investigate our own minds. And so when we tap into something that is absolutely internal, absolutely psychological, absolutely mental, and it's new to us, all right? As a people of this kind of spiritual culture, we immediately make that a supernatural experience. All right. But as you've already mentioned, we see the Bible is replete with this. This becomes numero uno as it relates to the therapeutic process. You mentioned Adam. The scripture says he was in a deep sleep, right? And that his side was opened up and a rib was removed. And that sounds like fairy tale logic, but we know that in hypnosis, in fact, Dr. James Braid in 1875 discovered that exact same phenomenon, that you could induce a level of trance in an individual where they're completely unresponsive to all forms of pain. You could do live surgery with them with their eyes wide open and clear eyed. And so we see that there is a level of access into the unconscious mind, as the scripture says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. We bring this to the church world, we bring this to faith-based organizations, we merge, as you want to call it, the ministry with this, because Paul says, I beseech you that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And most church folk have that mastered. They have their bodies in holiness and cleanliness, but it's their mind, right? That's the easy part, is the holiness in the body part. But is there wholeness in the internal, not just in the external?
Yes. Phenomenal. People can find your hypnosis services available on your website at cosmicnuaji.com, which is listed in the description box below, you guys. And this is someone who, how long have we been best friends? It feels like it's been forever.
It's well over a decade, I'm sure.
Oh, it's well over. It has to be going on 20.
I think it's maybe like 16 years.
16, yeah, almost 20 years. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So I can personally vouch for this person. This is my spiritual crime partner, you guys. Okay, so last but not least, let's get into some of your new products. Something called Spirit Bottles, which you've blessed me with one. And let me tell you, what I'm actually not going to share that right now. I need to figure out how I'm going to I need to figure out how I'm going to share that, because I'm a public figure. So all right, Spirit Bottles. I actually have one of these, and they have been a blessing to me. The house of Consciouztv has been blessed. You gifted me one of these bottles. This is another variation of the one that I have, actually, because the one that I have is designed to, it's for protective purposes. But you also now have ones that are for healing, that are for prosperity. And so you created these incredible advertisements for your product, can you talk to us about Lover Lockdown as well as the Order Now, cleansing, healing, help for the poor? So let's start here. Lover Lockdown. What's going on?
So, scripture makes it clear to us that not every struggle originates in the visible world. We're all familiar with the scripture that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against rulers and against authorities and against spiritual powers or forces in unseen realm. And what's interesting is that even though we know this, many people still attempt to confront the unseen influences in their life using visible means. They're using logic, using confrontation, using denial, and so this actually leaves them spiritually open. It leaves them unguarded. It leaves them vulnerable to the forces that operate outside of normal perception, which you know so well. And
Yes.
so what's interesting is that in our tradition, what moves unseen must be addressed with tools that are designed for the unseen, such as bottles. It's fascinating to me that bottles are a part of the prophet's repertoire. The scripture says in the book of Jeremiah, I think it's chapter 18, chapter 19, God actually tells the prophet Jeremiah to go get him a jar, go get him a bottle. It didn't come to him by a dream, it didn't come to him by a vision. God directly spoke to him and said, this issue in your nation needs to be addressed by a bottle. So maybe you've got a lover like that. Maybe you've got a loved one like that. And you're not looking for a fantasy relationship, but you are looking for a bit more focus.
Mm.
You're looking for a bit more focus. So our lover lockdown bottles is just that. It brings focus to your relationship. If they've got that wandering eye, that wandering ear, that wandering other
Wandering
thing we
spirit,
can't see
baby.
on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
we
If they're a
have
wandering
a
spirit, how to just help to house them. Give them a house,
yes,
wandering
exactly.
spirit. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so I love to look at this more or less as an anchoring. And by that, I mean this anchors your relationship. It makes it steadfast. It gives it a containment field, a protection field, a force field, if you will. David put it this way, that in Psalms 23, you would set a table before me in the midst of mine enemies. Now, why would God do that? Because he set a force field around him. They can see you, but they can't touch you. And that's the beauty of these bottles that you see here.
Nice. Order now. Cleansing, healing, help for the poor. A powerful saint bottle to aid in works of white medicine, spiritual protection, in cases of injustice. Yeah.
Yes and yes. So when you look, as you know, I'm Gullah from Gola, as in from Angola, and whether you look in the Congo, whether you look in Angola, whether you look at the Caribbean, all throughout the African diaspora and their theological framework, you find bottle-based technologies, right? Bottle trees, grave glass, spirit vessels, and these were beyond just decoration for the yard. These were defensive architecture, right? They were designed for spirits that may be wandering about, right? Luring them in and keeping them there so they don't have the ability to affect or infect anything else.
Almost like capturing a genie within a bottle. Literally.
Well, let's just say we found out that Jafar was from Africa.
He was from
So there's
Africa.
something to be said there about this technology. Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. All right. And people can put in their orders for the spiritual technologies that you create and that you distribute on, once again, your website, cosmicnuage.com.
For Cosmic.com, absolutely. The way it's going to work, we're going to just give you a intake. Again, we don't take every case, we don't take every order, but we want to hear from you for a commission. It's about 9 questions or so, very easy. You can schedule some time with us. We'll be on the call with you for about 45 minutes. We'll do a presentation. We'll see what's new and what's next for you, and craft you some art that aligns with that and supports that for you.
Nice. And kind of going back full circle, Young Black Hypnotist League. Okay, as a newly certified hypnotist yourself, you are going to open up a pathway for people to have these services provided to them and for them to enter into this field. Talk to us a little bit about Young Black Hypnotist League.
So, would you believe that the hypnotherapeutic industry, less than 5% are Black?
Mm-mm-mm.
Less than 5%.
But we are a minority
And
in this field.
yes, we are a minority. We are a minority in a field that we pioneered. Some of the earliest records of what we would call hypnosis date as far back as Egypt under the priest Imhotep and the sleeping temples. We see it with the Greeks as well, with the healing schools of Asclepius, and also, of course, among the Jews and the Hebrew prophets. We already looked at that in scripture time and time again. I feel that young people, Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, even, are having an encounter with their own mind, right? They're waking up to spiritual phenomenon. They're waking up to psychological phenomenon. They are exploring their external, their internal, and their eternal selves. And they're looking for a community. Some of them are actually feeling called to take this beyond just being a hobby and implementing it in their own life or in the life of their community. And this is why we have founded the Young Black Hypnotist League for those kinds of people. And we're talking, to be clear, about three types of people. We're talking about people, number one, who actually feel a call to be a hypnotist or a consulting hypnotist. We're talking about people, number two, that may already be interested in the medical field or have some medical licensure already under their belt and want to take it to the next level as a hypnotherapist. And we're talking to that third person who said, I'm not called to be a hypnotist or a hypnotherapist, but I do want these skill sets to fold into the other aspects of my life as a parent, as an entrepreneur, as a minister. Wherever they are in ministry or industry, this is their cutting edge.
My God, today. I am loving this. So once again, where can people sign up?
Just again, go to cosmic.com, book a consultation with us. Let us know that you're interested in joining or hearing more about the Black Hypnotist League. We'll send you some further information and get you an intake form.
Cosmic, thank you for being here today. You know what I would love to do? I would love to bring you on in the future and we do a live hypnotic session and demonstration. I think that would be quite lovely.
I love it. You know, I'm old school holiness. We got to demonstrate. Talk is cheap.
Love the demonstration. On period. Well, thank you, my friend, for being here. You guys, Cosmic's information is in the description box below. You can also find Cosmic, spelled just how it is here, on his screen, on Instagram, as well as Facebook. Contact him by all those means, but your preference is to be contacted definitely through your consultation link on your webpage.
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes. All right. I will be seeing you again in the near future, Mr. Nuage.
Beautiful. Thank you again.
Thank you. All right, you guys. That was Cosmic, honey. His link is in the description box below. Now I need you guys to thumbs up, share. We're going to take a quick 30-second commercial break, and then we're going to be back to get into the thick of why we're here today. All right. All right, Conscious crew, baby, it's a lot going on. Happy Thursday. All right, we are here to get into some things. Now, you guys know I have really defaulted to being the lead journalist, boots to the ground on this entire Bishop Bernard Jordan phenomenon that has been playing out via the breakdown of Dr. Larry Reed Live's spiritual and public social relationship to the Archbishop himself. as a result of a lot of the coverage that's being provided, and due to my last guest, Mr. James Singletary, who was a musician for the Jordans back in the mid 90s, it kind of opened up a can of worms. And I've been contacted by so many people who were direct members and worked directly and intimately with Bishop, who ultimately continue to share experiences, observations that corroborate the things that James Singletary also corroborated. And now we're going to sit here today with no other than the minister of music for the Jordans. This couple here actually worked alongside James Singletary, which is interesting because when I was speaking to James and he told me that he was the musician, based upon him playing kind of multiple instruments, I said, "Oh, you must be the minister of music." He said, "No, I wasn't the minister of music, but now the darn minister of music is here, honey. Okay, she done came up out of the earth, her and her lovely husband. With no further ado, I want to welcome the. Okay, I'm gonna mess up y'all last names again.
Okay. Charmans.
Charamans. Okay.
Yes, like charming. Charamans.
Yeah.
Okay. Charamans.
Charamans. Yes.
Oh, okay. Charamans. Got it. All right. People been tearing my name up my whole life, so I be tearing other people's names up. Okay, as a result, I want to welcome you all to the platform. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
First of all, you guys are such a beautiful couple. And congratulations on sustaining love in such a crazy time right now, because so many people are not going to be able to experience what you guys have been able to be blessed with between each other. So much love and blessings to y'all's relationship. You guys actually have a very unique love story. Yes, I think I feel like I almost got to bring y'all back just to get into that piece alone, because that's a whole conversation in and of itself.
Yes.
But first and foremost, I want to ask you all, how are you feeling for 2026, and how has 8 days of the new year been treating you all?
I'll speak first. Just amazing. I know that, as a matter of fact, I actually put a prophetic forecast out, and I know that God is really wanting us to cherish relationships and to really, really encourage one another, because we really don't know how long we will be here. Absolutely. We really don't. And so I've encouraged people, and I'm practicing this myself, to, if the Lord lays someone on my heart, you know what I mean? Give them a call, send them a text. And it's interesting because a girlfriend of mine, we have been trying to have brunch for about 3 or 4 years. Mm-hmm. And every time we put something on the calendar, she's like, "Oh, my husband has this going on, or I have to do this." And we finally had dinner about a month ago. And I thought, this is absolutely ridiculous. And so we need to cherish relationships. I believe that's what God wants us to do. And we don't ever want someone to leave this earth and we thought that we had more time with them. So I think that's very, very important. So I cherish my husband. We have 2 adult children and a grandchild, and we are just blessed. And like I was telling you before we came on, want to walk in righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost. Period.
Absolutely. Period. Amen to that. All right. So the circumstances that have brought us here are very fascinating. You were a minister of music for the Jordans back in the 90s. You also worked alongside James Singletary, and obviously you and your lovely husband have been keeping up with this coverage. So before I guess we get into y'all's experience and y'all's journey, what are y'all thoughts about what has been happening around Bishop Jordan, and what would you say compelled you all to be here today to speak your own experience of the Jordan?
Okay. Oh, my husband is like, "You go first, honey." I would say this. Now, it's interesting. I'll just give you a little background. It's interesting because I started following Larry, Dr. Reed, probably about 3 or 4 years ago. And it's interesting because I came across him because he covered, I think it was the Apostle David Taylor story. There were some things going on with him, and I had come in contact with David Taylor before. And so I just kind of got hooked, and I thought, finally, someone is helping to have a conversation around some of the abuse and things that are going on in Christendom, in the name of Christendom, because it's really more of a system of control, you know. And so I came across him through that. I started following him. And then I remember, I don't know if it was a couple of years ago, and then I saw Bishop Jordan. I was like, whoa.
How did that happen?
Honestly, I was like, huh? I said,
Mhm.
Bishop Jordan. And I said, wow. I said, and my first thought was, and I know everything has to be, you know, allegedly or our opinions.
Right.
And my first thought was, I said, okay, well, he's with Dr. Rita. And I thought, well, you know, maybe he's changed. That was my first thought.
Yeah.
And I said, I started to listen, and I thought, well, you know, maybe he's come around, and maybe there's some humility, and maybe he's changed.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when I saw with Dr. Reed, I said, okay, they're two powerful prophets. And I thought this was a great, you know, collaboration. I haven't followed very much of the recent stories of them, you know, becoming, have
Were you okay? So right there, because that's interesting. As somebody who, you know, was a part of the ministry, etc. So you would actually say that you enjoyed their partnership, despite your own personal experience.
Oh yes, absolutely, okay. I did, because I love the prophetic, and I love the depth of spirituality. Yeah. And so that it was just, I mean, I was watching, taking notes, you know, and so I enjoyed it. And because I sat under, you know, we sat under Bishop Jordan. He was, and still is, I mean, the real deal when it comes to a prophet. I didn't understand why he was calling himself master prophet. I just didn't understand all of that, you know, but truly, I believe that everything that a lot of who we are spiritually is because we sat under him.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. Very accurate.
Yeah.
His execution, just, you know, mind-blowing at times.
Yeah. Like objectively gifted in the prophetic.
100%. 100%.
Now, since you had also come into their partnership from the lens of your own experience, when you became aware that they had separated, were you also surprised that separation had and did occur?
No. And my first thought was, you know, the either like the honeymoon stage is over, or the mask was removed, the delusion is no longer in place. That's what I thought. I said, oh man, I said, oh, maybe he hasn't changed. That was my first thought.
Wow. Hubby, get in here.
I really didn't know much about their connection, but through my wife, I, you know, would view it a little bit, and I just didn't, because of the amount of history within that short period of time that we were at Zoe, that I just did not believe that would last. I just, I mean, I've thrown that, you know, that situation out. I mean, you know, I am really a little bit past that, because a leopard doesn't change his spots, and I'm, you know, that's where I'm at. My wife is a little more forgiving and she's gracious. But I tend to look more at the individual. So I didn't see that. It was just a matter of time before that relationship would
disseminate,
you know,
or disintegrate. Yeah.
So what you guys are going to learn as you guys learn from the pronounce it again. The
Charwoman.
Char. It's not char. I want to say char.
It's the hard sound. It's the hard sound of the CH.
Char. But what you guys are going
to, it's East Indian.
What you guys are going to learn from the Charwomans is that wifey and husband are definitely night and day when it comes to Bishop. So y'all be aware of that.
Well, I mean, I do respect him, his calling.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the other things that come along that
it's the person.
You know, that has been so, you know, deceptive in the beginning, but then, you begin to see the boldness. But you don't, a lot of people, the majority of people that were in that ministry or at the church did not see or was not privy to a lot of the information that we had. So yes, you try to cover as much as possible in love until you realize you can't cover this thing. And we were one of the first ones to leave.
Okay, so speaking of that, let's go directly into the heart of this. Tell me how you all came into Zoe Ministries. I'm kind of just going to let y'all have the floor, and hubby and you can kind of like, you know, a jump rope in and out, since y'all both had a shared experience together. So y'all just, you know, speak to us about, how you came, how he came, and what happened through and through, by and by.
Okay. And it was a prophetic move. Literally, it was prophetic. So first of all, I grew up in a pastor's home. My parents are both deceased now. My dad was a pastor. My mother was the minister of music. It was a Baptist church, but my parents were very open to the spirit realm. My mother was a seer. She would always dream and see things. And my dad was really an apostle, I don't even know if he really understood it at the time, but very open to the prophetic and spiritual things. And so I think my first interaction or exposure to Bishop Jordan was on a radio show. I think he was being interviewed by a pastor, and my dad had the radio show playing in his car. And he said, wow, this guy really sounds like he knows what he's talking about. And so I think he came to Detroit. He was at a church, came to Detroit. We really enjoyed him. And it was interesting that my dad said, I'm going to bring him to the church. Now, this is a Baptist pastor. My dad brought Bishop Jordan. This is before I met my husband. My dad brought Bishop Jordan to the church, enjoyed everything. We fell in love with him. And it was interesting because he came to the church. And then I don't know if this was, I know that in one instance, he actually prophesied to my mother. This is before she passed away. And this may have been at a guest church that we saw him at before we brought him to our church. And he prophesied to my mother, and he told her, he said, I see you packing your bags and taking a trip. I'll never forget that. And my mom, she said, am I going to pass away? And I was like, no, Mom, of course not. And she did shortly after that.
Wow.
And the interesting thing was my dad had brought him to the church after that. And I remember him saying to me, he said, if you ever come to New York, mind you, we're in Michigan. If you ever come to New York, you're going to be my minister of music.
Wow.
And I said, oh no, I was thinking I have to take care of my dad because my mom is no longer here. I've got to run the music department, etc. I take care of my dad. And then I remember there was another time, and I can't place all of, the timeline. It's been such a long time, but he also prophesied to me that I would be in the arms of a man of God very soon. And I remember him prophesying that. I fell out on the floor. I meet my husband, who by way of born in the Cayman Islands, raised in, I'm sorry, I'm saying Caymans, Bermuda. That's where his sister is. Born in Bermuda, raised in Trinidad, and moved to New York. When I met him, he was living in New York. And so guess what? We got married, moved to New York. I told him, we have to go see that prophet.
And before you go any further with that story, Carrie Bradshaw, your husband was prophesied to you as well by his sister. His sister was like,
yes, and I'll throw that in. I'm a school principal now, but years ago I was a teacher, and my first teaching job, it was at Central High School in Detroit, and his sister was my student. And she said to me, if you meet my brother, you're going to marry him. And I thought, how sweet. I said, how sweet. Met him. When did you propose, honey?
Day 3.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, because we spoke for 2 weeks prior to me seeing her, so I was very impressed about the depth and the level of spirituality and love she had for the things of God.
Yes.
And so I wanted to know more. So I flew up met her on Valentine's Day.
Yep, Valentine's Day.
Mm.
And he proposed 3 days
How
later.
convenient.
I know.
Look, I'm sick of this perfect love story. It's like it was literally curated by the Lord's hands. Just Valentine's Day,
and we eloped on April 1st, April Fool's Day.
Wow.
Why do fools fall in love?
Wow, because they're perfect for each other. That's why. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I living in Brooklyn, I was working out.
Yeah.
He was sexy,
and the thing is, you see, everything's there, but it's not. Yeah. It's the substance.
The substance.
And the individuals that I met just couldn't measure up. I knew that God had something more for me. Yeah. And I remember Bishop Jordan, even when we were at the church, he would say, "You don't really know what you have, the gift, the calling."
Wow.
That's on her life. Yeah. So it was a little bit frustrating in the beginning, and I think the church did not help shape that. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to get into that. And I'm literally so polarized by you guys' love story that it's insane. I mean, with you guys having such an incredible and a very unique love story. I mean, you guys, fell in love, and obviously over the course of time, it's proven to be what it is.
Yeah.
If y'all children were to have the same experience, would y'all encourage them, or would I be like, "Girl, don't you dare marry a man"?
Yeah, I wouldn't really encourage it. I mean, because there's so many things that we leave out because there's not enough time. But you give the person, you're giving them something that they want to see, that you want them to see, and they already get to know the inside. So yeah, you might have had bad credit or no money, or how many relationships you've had before, and so forth. But you want to profess the best to this individual. But I was praying prior to me meeting her. I was praying. I says, I was in a relationship that I'd broken off. Yeah. But I said, God, I am ready. I said, I'm tired of waiting, of mingling with the wrong, the people that aren't what you have for me. And I didn't know that he was really having me, reach further. But the connection to my sister, and so God, we are connected somehow.
Yeah.
Your destiny.
There's and it's interesting. And this is just a little side note. But it's funny because his name, if you look at how his name is spelled, it's so funny because it looks like Ant Honey, right?
Yeah.
And Deborah, the Hebrew, it means a honeybee, which is very industrious. And so I remember seeing that at one time. I was like, we really were made for each other. And I'm going to tell you, Conscious, and I know we'll get off the love story, but I actually was engaged to someone else. People were always trying to marry me, so.
Amen. He the honeybee and you the honey, baby.
Right. So I was actually engaged to someone before. And when my mother died, I kept praying. I kept asking the Lord. I said, is this the one for me? And I'll never forget. I had a dream, and I was in a place that almost looked like Paris. And he has taken me to Paris a couple of times, but it was like a very ornate street. It was beautifully designed. It looked like perfection. And then I was taking my shoes off. I was getting ready to walk down the street. I heard my mother's voice, who had passed away. She said, Deborah, don't do it. Look down. When I looked down, I saw nothing but broken glass. And when I woke up, the Holy Spirit said, this is not the one for you, because your life will be filled with brokenness. It looks beautiful on the outside. It's ornate and beautiful, but you will have a life of brokenness. Conscious, the next day I saw this man who I was madly in love with. I felt like the Holy Ghost stood between, or an angel stood between me and him. I had absolutely no romantic feelings for him. And I said, I can't marry you. God had intervened supernaturally.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow. Jesus Christ, this just gets more dynamic as you guys. So yeah, I'm bringing you guys for a whole love segment. So be prepared to return back to the show.
We will, and you gotta have lots of sex too.
Okay, you know what? That's gonna be the third show. Lots of sex. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So fast forward. Okay. So the Jordans, you are now married to the love of your life, and you're like, wait, I have to go see Bishop. I got to do it. All right. So what happened?
I walked in, and he saw me because I don't know if it was a year before that. I can't remember the timeline, but he told one of the other prophets. He said, "That's the girl I told you about." So he knew I was coming.
Yeah.
He knew I was coming. And there was another, I want to say David Frazier was there. There was another, yes, David Frazier. He was the minister of music there before me. So I came along and I was playing keys, and eventually David moved on, and I was given that seat.
Do you know what happened to David?
I can't, I'm not sure. It's kind of blurry. I'm just not sure. But he's a very talented young man, talented songwriter, all that great stuff.
Okay.
But so I came into the seat, and it was, and I had only been playing keys for maybe like 7 years, not very long. So I wasn't very, very proficient, but I was very prophetic. And I think that everything that I am today is largely due to him. As I sat under him, the prophetic, I mean, there was just an impartation, just an impartation. And someone was saying, David, did, I think he wrote, I Need You, did he write, I Need You to Survive? I think he did, Hezekiah Walker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he may have written that. But things were great. Things were great in the beginning, but my husband, we were married that April, and then I was pregnant by June. So when we got to Zoe, I can't remember what month it was in 93, but I was pregnant at the time. And I used to, once I got hired in, and I was making only $300 a week, but Bishop had us go I had to come into the office as a musician and type partner letters. We all had to type these letters all day and send them out to partners, because it was to garner, support, financial support, thank you letters to partners. But we did that all day.
So y'all were actually the original robocallers.
How about that?
Flesh and blood robo. Yeah. Wow.
That part.
Okay.
And the more I thought about it, and eventually I was like, why am I doing this? I had to go into that office Monday through Friday, typing letters, and then I still had to run rehearsals, go do the services and everything. And I thought, this is so ridiculous. But after I had my son, and then I started bringing my son into the office, they were like, let's get her out of this office. So eventually I was out of that office. But it was interesting because I never had to do something like that as a musician.
Write partner letters all day. It basically spammed the public for support and crowdfunding and visibility. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So now
all for the same low price.
All for the same low, $300 a week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because his rationale was, you're pregnant, you can't get a job, so we're going to use you up.
Oh no.
Wow.
That's how I thought.
And at the time, Dr. Deborah, you thought it was crazy that you was having to do this. Did you feel at that point that you were being taken advantage of, that you were being used up, or it was just
you know what? I really like you kind of alluded to earlier. I am definitely an optimist. Yeah. I mean, now I do know, and we talked about this off camera, I'm a Scorpio, so we do read people, but I'm also I try to see the best. So
baby, we can't see nothing but the glory in people, baby. Yes.
We try, we try until, but when we really see the real, we're done.
We're done.
We're absolutely done with you.
I'm Taurus. I could smell it from a distance.
See, Scorpio's got to see it up close, but Anthony can see that thing from a mile away. Like, yeah. Time it is. So speaking of that, so hubby, when wifey came into the ministry, what was your attitude? Were you even a like churchy person? Like, did you want to belong to a church?
No, I did. I did. It's just
Okay.
that at my pace, because we're starting a family, and I knew from past experience in the Caribbean that, you know, a lot of preachers, they send their kids somewhere else, and you're obligated to be there 7 days a week. And, you know, and you get burnt out.
Okay.
So, you know, and I did, my wife was blessed, you know, I did most of the cooking, you know, all the laundry. You know, and so, because I didn't want her to do all that extra stuff, you know, she was busy, and I said, hey, you know, I could pick up that slack. But
baby, Savannah got her a good damn man, baby. Her a good man, baby.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know, I knew there was
a lot of work, and you just wanted your wife to be able to exist and be well. And
yeah, and I know they wanted me to be more involved. I mean, I was a deacon, but they wanted me to become more involved.
Yeah.
But you know, you have two people in a ministry doing so much, and Zoe Ministries, they were very involved. So you had all this, you had care group meetings, deacons meetings. It's just you know,
it's like literally being adopted into a whole family. Like it's a whole system, a whole production.
I mean, the people were wonderful. It's just the system was very oppressive.
Yeah,
and it didn't feel to me that it was, you know, geared towards family. You know, so it was a reflection of how the individuals, the leaders, dealt with their relationships. If they saw that, they would have been more sympathetic.
Yeah,
but they didn't. I'm just convinced, because I was called out a few times. Hey, let somebody else hold the kid. You need to do this. You need to do that. I'm like,
but he was holding our baby. You know,
like, you have my wife hostage for 7 days a week. You know, what's this?
Wow, Jesus, he was running a plantation, a workshop over there.
Quite a lot. Many marriages did not.
Many marriages did not. It was.
So y'all saw a lot of marriages corrode over the course of being aligned with Zoe Ministry.
What happened? It was disintegrating. There was not a lot of, you know, and it happened after we left, and after some of them left. But you know,
but we saw marriages falling apart even when we were there. It was like, and we saw several marriages come together, but you knew there was so much dissension. Yeah, it was.
And what do you believe the root of that dissension was? Like, is it the workload? Is it how taxing it is? Is it that it takes you out of your life?
I think a little bit of all of the above, and then also the spirit in the house. You know, I will say this as a blanket statement: whatever is on the leaders will come upon the people.
The apple doesn't fall far. Wow. There's a transfer.
And I'm going to be honest, I've been in many houses of worship, and the marriages are not healthy between the pastor and his wife. And they will put on a show.
Absolutely.
And I get it. I know it's not like we want you to air out your dirty laundry. You know, we can't stand each other. But remember, you have prophetic people around and Scorpios who can see. And so, and honestly, most of the churches that I've been at, the marriages have truly, it's been a show. It's been a show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely tell the direction of how things were going in a few ministries when we saw the interaction of the wife, you know, with the other people in the church. And, you know, so it's a clear sign. It's a clear sign.
Yeah.
Now, so y'all say that you know, the people were wonderful. So this wasn't per se like a messy church. Like, was there a lot of mess, a lot of contention even amongst members? Like, how would y'all describe the camaraderie of Zoe Ministries or the Zoe Ministries?
I think, well, first of all, I'll say, you know, first of all, it was one of the most gifted assemblies I had ever experienced. And I don't know if I've experienced another one since. And, you know, Bishop was able to attract prophetic people, artistic people, creative people. We had designers, artists, musicians, and it was right in the heart of Manhattan. So, we had Rev Run, Run DMC. People like Lynn Whitfield would come. Les Brown and Gladys Knight came. Melba Moore. I mean, it's just, people would just come in. Chris Rock was sitting in the service one day.
Wow.
And so there's a saxophonist, Mike Phillips. He used to play with us. I used to play with Billy Preston every first Sunday for communion. I don't know why I didn't take any photos, but whatever. I wasn't thinking straight at that time. But but I think in general, the people were just amazing people. But some of the structures in place, it was very controlling. I remember meeting with one key pastor when we first got there, and he was asking how many people I slept with, and very intrusive, and it was almost like to have something on you.
Wow.
To leverage at a later time. I just didn't understand that line of questioning.
Yeah. So going into that, y'all also share that there would be things like background checks would be done on people. I mean, that they would really get involved in the intimate details of members' lives. Can y'all talk a little bit more about that?
You can talk about that.
Well,
no names.
yes,
no names.
no names, but obviously you had people in law enforcement working there doing background checks on. I mean, I would understand every job would want to possibly do a background check on you, but things that were more in depth, and then you keep this information, as a way to manipulate, individuals. It's not good.
Because it eventually was divulged that someone in the church had been a prostitute. Because that information, it was leaked.
Yeah.
So things like that. Things like that. And yeah, but I would say now in terms of the church, of course you always have cliques and things like that. Yeah. But one of the more toxic environments was the office. Like when I was there in the office, people, it was very toxic. People were, people got fired quite frequently, fired and rehired. And I'll never forget one of the most hurtful things. I will never forget this. I had just had a baby. So I was nursing, and then I would, go into the bathroom and, pump milk and things like that. And that was like this running joke. It was just so disrespectful. And I still remember that to this day. But even the people who were in the office, there was so much profanity, so much, it was, I told my husband, I said, these people they're not saved. I said, they can't be. And I was very naive because my parents lived the life.
Yeah.
They weren't one way in front of the congregation in a different way. Like my dad, they were the same. My parents, they, took people, we've even taken people on trips with us. They travel with us. They would give away money, food, everything. They live a life. So this was the example that I saw. So when I got to the office and I saw people cussing and Bishop throwing tantrums and firing people, I was like, I don't understand. It just didn't compute.
Yeah.
So it was a culture shock for me.
Yeah.
It was a culture shock.
How bad would those tantrums be?
I mean, it was just like you just didn't want to get in the way if just the hollering, just being very
and even imagine Bishop hollering, because he presents as such a almost kind of just like kind of a grandfatherly type of an energy, like a very just grounded energy. So to imagine him hollering is wild.
And he does have that, he does have a side to him that is very paternal. And can appear as loving, but it was just, there were things that just were just, disturbing, like, and I can get into maybe the business practices,
Yes.
And so even as did you want to say anything else?
No.
Did you want to add anything else? My husband says I'm doing
Let me
fine.
tell you something. The hubby is being very humble right now, baby, because baby, he was leading the show in the pre-interview. Okay, now he's sitting here all calm and situated.
I'm trying to be civil also, and because
they gotta be civil
when you go back, it brings up the feelings that you had at that time.
Yeah.
And so, but I think Deb is doing a great job. So.
Yeah. So I just recall. So I was, as a minister of music, I was writing a lot of original music, and
Bishop, you were the Kirk Franklin of the church, baby.
I was writing, teaching, and singing, and Bishop, I'll never forget, he said to me one time, he said, "You don't ever have to listen to anybody." He said, "You just go in your prayer closet, you just hear from God."
Yeah.
And so we would write spontaneous songs. I mean, I wasn't the only minister of music who did that. I know that was a pattern even before me. But write songs on the spot. He might have a sermon, and then I would have a little chorus or a bridge that I would sing after the sermon, and it would, be parallel to what he spoke. Yeah. And so we had a lot of prophetic, it was just beautiful. And so that really, I was always a songwriter, even at the age of 10, but it really, really, really birthed some things in me. And so I remember, fast forward, we were going to do an album, and I was excited. I hadn't been in the studio before. Yeah. And we were going to do an album. And I had written about 11 out of 15 worship songs.
Wow.
And I remember we were so excited because back then we had secured a publishing or distribution deal with what was called Benson Records. They don't exist now. It might be Verity. I don't know if Verity still exists, but Benson Records / Verity, might be Zamba Jive now. But we had a distribution deal, and we were so excited because, like, it was going to put Zoe Ministries on the map for music. You get distribution. Hey, that's the ticket, especially back then. And so eventually what happened, we had met with the people and we were excited. And then after that, I don't know how long after that it was, I was taken into a room, several of us who had maybe contributed to the repertoire. We were taken into an office and we were told to sign these papers. And so me being trusting, not really reading, which is ridiculous. Yeah. I'm thinking this is the Benson record deal that they've been talking about all this time, all this discourse about this deal. Yeah. And so eventually, and my husband was livid. And I don't know if I had a copy of it and I brought it home. I can't remember. But when I actually really took a deep dive into the contract, the Benson deal was no longer on the table. Don't know what happened. Wow. But it was now called Zoe Records. It wasn't the Benson record deal. And eventually, and all of the songs I wrote was now categorized as a work for hire, which basically means because you're my employee, any work that you do within the scope and the time frame of working for me, we own it.
So it's basically a way to get free labor and to get your craft out of you without reimbursement or accountability.
Yeah, without.
But they made her sign that wow. 2 days after miscarriage.
And then had you signed that contract
2 days after
miscarriage, and with Bishop being so proficient in business, intentionally didn't have y'all sit down with lawyers, didn't have any nuanced discussion with you all about these contracts. It was literally almost as if you were being intentionally defrauded and taken advantage of. And as you describe yourself as naive, and him being him also knowing that is crazy.
I went to the office to find the individual who took that paperwork to make her sign it, and they hit him in the back.
They hit him. Yes. They hit him because
still doing unknown name.
I came through that front door. If I had seen him there, I probably would have been in jail, and somebody would have been somewhere else.
Are we concealing his name?
Oh yeah, I guess
Well,
we
his
can.
first name is Jay Hamilton, I guess. Jay.
Oh, Jay, the infamous, legendary personal assistant of Archbishop.
Yeah.
Wow. So Jay had orchestrated this.
Yes.
And husband came to the house of God.
Well, it was the church office. I mean, I had gone to the church after that because I think she had a rehearsal, and one of the other ministers was scared that I was going to attack her because she had a part to play in it. You know, Deborah Jones, but I was, you know, that was not my intention to attack her. I was just very upset that she would have allowed this. They knew exactly what they were doing.
You came to confront these people
about
what they had
done,
but you were going to beat the crap out of Jay.
No, I would have.
He was going to get that work. My God,
my wife knows me.
Wow, and they hid him because you came to the church ready to give.
His bishop's brother-in-law used to be in the office. There's a side office as you go through that front door. He was there, Pastor Duncan. They all rushed and restrained me. And and I said, well, you know, I could stay outside and wait for him. You know, but I wanted him to know what he had done.
Yeah.
You know, it was just heartless.
So, okay. So let's sit in that moment. And before we do, I want to shout out to Dr. Larry Reed, who's in the building. Hey, Dr. Reed, who says, I just finished your last interview, CTV, with the dude, Jeremy Singletary from the chat. I am watching this one. I'm not going to lie. I'm burdened and I'm bothered. Yeah. But Dr. Reed, a lot of harm has happened to people under that defect product that you are apprehensive about fully issuing a public, you know, a public sentiment about that product needs to be recalled off the shelf. It's defected for sure. Shout out to Dr. Reed. So your husband gets wind of this contract. There is upset. It's clear that you are being bamboozled and hoodwinked. But like in that moment, what did you feel as someone who trusted Bishop? You are a part of his ministry. You've brought your family, your husband into this ministry, and now you're having a moment of betrayal. How did you feel? Like, do you remember your emotional state at that time?
Just feeling hurt and honestly completely bewildered because once again, my background, from what I saw, a true pastor, a true shepherd, it was unbelievable for me. And I really could not discern. This is when I really could understand when God will say, you know, they'll say, I prophesied in your name. I cast out devils. And he says, depart from me. I never knew you. I started to understand this and that the gifts and callings are without repentance. I started to understand. And like I said, being young and coming from a background with parents who were filled with integrity, I couldn't separate the gifting and the lack of integrity. Because you know, sometimes we think, oh, God is using this person so mightily, they must have integrity. Not so.
We think that because of the gifts, of the talent, of the calling, that's synonymous to integrity, and it's not.
And it is not. And that was a rude awakening for me because I never saw a dichotomy with gifting and integrity because of how I was raised. They went hand. There was a marriage there. And so, so this was unnerving. And I always, you know, and like I said, when I saw Dr. Reed, you know, and I said, oh, there's Bishop. You know, I hadn't seen Bishop in I don't know how many years. And like I said, my first thought was, oh, well, maybe he's changed. Maybe he has gotten the therapy that he needed. He's gotten the healing. He's gotten whatever he needed. And so I'm just, you know, we're here and, you know, this was kind of difficult because I always like to be positive and speak positive, but this is what needs to happen because the abuse of the system of the church, it is so rampant.
It is.
And people, whoever has the mic, whoever has the platform has the power, the influence, and the control. And so, you know, people use, and I won't get into some of the things going on now, but people are using the pulpit for things that have nothing to do with God. And so if we are constantly, so I'm looking at the system. And so when we came out of that, and we saw some of this stuff in other ministries that I've been minister music at, but I immediately, we see it right away. It's like, no, we're not going down this rabbit hole again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was very disheartening.
So after that confrontation, we had a meeting at Bishop's house. And so it was
before that meeting, did wifey know that you were coming to tear the church up on that day?
I don't think so. Because when we found out, I went to work, and I didn't work too far, and so I had this this bicycle on my job, because I worked in a building. I was a maintenance, and so I got on this bike and I rode down to the office, and I said to myself, I said, we're going to see what's going to happen here with this individual, because I was just so focused. I mean, I just couldn't. I rode through traffic, and I was just determined, and he was there. But fortunately for himself, and maybe for myself, I would have felt good, but we ended up meeting with Bishop at his house. Him, and obviously a police officer.
Wow.
From a security team, and he said, before we got into the door, I don't know how you all could think that I would do this to you. I said, no, you don't love us. I love you all. Like this.
Didn't he hit the dining table or something? He was like, I love you all. I love you.
Oh, he performed, baby. He put on a performance. Yeah.
But you know what, Conscious? I do think, like, deep down inside there is, because sometimes I would look at him and I'm like, there's this little boy that's stuck somewhere. And I think there was some real love and care. But I believe when there's so much trauma and so many unresolved issues, and I hate to just use that, because we use that word quite a bit, trauma, but it's true, because people are not, just like when you had your the gentleman on before us, there's things that go on in the subconscious, that we haven't dealt with. And you can say I'm blessed and highly favored, but if you don't truly believe it, and when the word talks about casting down vain imaginations, all of that in our minds, that is the thing that has to be dealt with, so that our soul can be integrated and we can be the same all the time. So if you see someone, I mean, we all have our triggers, but if someone shows up as one person at work, another person at church, another person at home, then that person's soul is not fully integrated. And that's when integrity comes into play, when you can show up the same all the time.
Yeah. And I think because of the conservativeness and because of the metric that religion uses, that it suppresses people's authenticity. And I think that something really bad happens to humans when we don't get to show up authentically, and we don't get to be in touch with ourselves in a way that's truly organic. To your point, I have also been thinking about, my God, what has Bishop gone through that has created what a lot of you all have experienced? And I want to get into that in a little bit, but before we even get there too, going back to this meeting. So you guys are at his home. He has a officer there. You guys are there to confront the situation. He is absolutely rebuking that as his intention. And he's, slamming his hand down on the table. I love you guys. How could you guys possibly think I would ever do something like this? But yet it was done. So what was his actual explanation? How did he mansplain what he had you all sign?
Well, we don't remember exactly the words that he used, because to me it was just, okay, you're brought into this situation and it's like, everything's ringing, because whatever he's saying to me, I'm not receiving it, because it's not the truth. Because we found out also that my wife was being paid as a musician, and then while she was working on the album, you say it's a work for hire, but he was paying the other keyboardists Not this was another gentleman playing there, not Jimmy or James Singletary, but another guy who was doing the production, paying him as a musician in the church, but paying him to produce.
Wow.
And my wife,
I vocal produced,
wrote most of the music,
and sang half of it.
So when we kicked up enough fuss about this, he thought that he could pay. Is this when your housing allowance came in?
I don't remember. I think that was before. I think that came after I came out of the office. They did give me a housing because I was also on the ministerial team.
Yeah.
But I also recall, even I think when we went to the evening services, remember, even with the evening services, he would pay the other musician who was under me. He was paying him extra money. That might have been when he gave me a housing allowance. Yes. I found that out. Right. And I was like, and I think he told me, he was like, yeah, I'm getting paid extra for these services. I'm like, wait, I'm the minister of music and I am here all the time. And he's paying you extra for services. And I'm the one here teaching the choir. He didn't have a choir until I got there. Wow. I raised up a choir, praise team. I wrote original songs for them as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, he railroaded you as a woman, as a contributor to his ministry. He only wanted to pay you what he had already been paying you, but didn't want to pay you for your professional contribution to this professional body of work, and then tried to underhand you in the contract, and then tried to psychologically hoodwink y'all when y'all had the courage to confront the situation head on.
Yes. And we had to threaten. This might have been after we left, but we threatened a lawsuit, and we didn't even get to it because he eventually, was it $1,500, $1,200? It was something. It was measly though.
On the dollars.
It was measly, but I just said, you know what? And then too, in my head, the scripture talks about taking a brother to court. You just get so programmed.
Don't do your prophet no harm.
All the programming, but we have.
That's why you need a husband, because see that masculine energy, like, oh no, ma'am.
That's
I mean,
wrong application.
I remember standing outside the church building in 310 Riverside Drive, and we were having a discussion, and he was telling me, why are you prostituting your wife? By me demanding that you pay her more. He said you,
and then called you a pimp for
proper pay. That is just like an Indian man, because my mother is East Indian.
Wow.
Right? And he said, just like your people. And I tell you, if he hadn't had security around him, oh my God, how could you say that? You're taking advantage of my wife and telling me how can I be prostituting or whatever my wife because I'm asking you to be fair to her?
Bishop called you a pimp and then insulted your ethnicity, all because you were rallying for proper pay to your wife. And this was after the sit down at the house? And
we didn't really sit down. We stood up. I wasn't going to sit down. I just wanted to meet him and face to face because I'm a confrontational person. Yeah. If you have an issue with me, hey, let's talk about it. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in putting things under the rug. Yeah. It doesn't have to be physical, but we have to be verbal. We have to get,
direct.
Yes. Yeah. And that's me.
So what did y'all walk away from the house then thinking after y'all hear him try to defend and mansplain? What was y'all takeaway leaving there?
Well, you know what? I think we left shortly after that, honey. Could have been. And I'll say this, just hurt. Just like I said, we only understood like integrity. We just could not wrap our minds around people who didn't operate in integrity. And so one of the things I do remember, we were very, very hurt. It took a while to really get over it. But I remember once we left, he cursed us from the pulpit. He cursed the Charmans. People wouldn't talk to us. Now some of these things will come back to me. There were people who wouldn't talk to us anymore. And I'll never forget, one lady called me. She said, Minister Charman, I just want to call and see how you're doing. I know I really shouldn't be, but
Wow.
just wanted to check on you. So we were like the lepers. And that's the other thing that I really disdain about the religious system. If someone leaves a church, then they are technically ostracized, excommunicated, stigmatized. They're now the leper. I've seen this, I'm telling you.
That's the
over
infamous
and over again.
Dr. Deborah, this is what they call the classic narcissistic smear campaign. He whistle blew to the congregation through that curse and or through that rebuke, so that the rest of the chickens and hens could organize around that. Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember that. And I think did somebody call into? I can't remember. Yeah, we were told. Yeah, and so no one would talk to us. you know. And we eventually moved back to Michigan, shortly.
Jesus. So the member accidentally really exposed the play when they said, I know I shouldn't be. So they knew they were under direct orders and they were breaching those orders by contact.
Yes, I really shouldn't be talking to you, but I love you. And, and I was just like, I still remember who she is. I can't call her name, but it was very interesting. Even there was a minister there who was the ghostwriter for all of his books. She was not compensated.
That's what, look, James Singletary, the interviewer before you guys, also, he experienced the same thing. He was not paid for his musical services. He was a traveling musician. Bishop decided one day in his Gemini energy, according to him, to just not pay him. He also said that this was rampant in the church, that it would be days like this. Bishop would pick and choose. Bishop would be in these moods. He would do, don't do. And that's also consistent with narcissism complex as what they do that. Wow. Scapegoating and kind of gaslighting and love bombing in order to deepen the dependency and also to create the psychological terror that is a result of their own internal brokenness, because they have to afflict pain as a result of being in pain. But that kind of cat and mouse situation is what they do. And he also spoke about how, him being like your husband, he took matters to his own hand. He said, if you don't want to pay me, he took up drums and keyboards and stuff.
Oh, we remember. We heard about it. We heard about, someone saying, we would always hear things, oh, we heard, Jimmy was stealing. And I was like,
absolutely. I'm paying myself since y'all don't want to pay me.
But you know what, Conscious, it's interesting because even when I, started following Larry years ago, I would have, I've had dreams about Bishop Jordan. I can't recall what they are now. I probably would have to look at my journals. I can't recall, but I saw him. He was present. And I had probably a couple of dreams over the past few years. And my desire, Conscious, and I always thought this, and I know we just heard through the grapevine from other people who used to go there, that he said all his sons and daughters need to come back or they will come back. My desire is to see him have a banquet and invite us and just say he's sorry. You don't have to go into details, but sons and daughters, I'm sorry for all, because he probably couldn't recall all that he has done. We all can, but have a banquet, fly everybody out, just apologize, repent, let there be a reconciliation of sorts, because before he leaves this life, I would hope that he would be at peace. I would hope that he would be at peace. And how can you be at peace when when you have crushed so many, there's so many fragments in people's lives and in your own life?
This is the sad thing about narcissists, is that they don't have a conscience to feel sorry from. They are completely apathetic, and that's why he can go on with his life and leave this trail of brokenness and heartbreak and disappointment and betrayal behind him, and lose no sleep and continue to focus on the accumulation of wealth for himself. He doesn't have the conscience that you speak of.
That is frightening.
Yeah, it's terrifying. And that's why we need Dr. Reed, who's the last of the Mohicans, to really seal the deal, on this thing, because it is frightening. It's a religious a terrorist disguised as an archbishop, it seems. And all of you guys' experiences is not by coincidence. It's literally establishes a pattern of behavior. A pattern of behavior.
Yeah.
Can you, what was y'all's experience of Deborah the wife?
Well,
I mean, I worked in the home a couple of times doing different things.
because he does construction.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was, to me, it was just because they had servants, you know, so she didn't have much interaction with the help, you know, with somebody like myself, or
Yeah.
but yeah, it was just didn't say much, and she was pleasant to me,
Yeah.
but to my wife, maybe.
We did not have a relationship. We did not. And I'm just going to be honest, Conscious. Most churches that I've been at, the first ladies don't really like me.
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm cute, Conscious.
Baby, that cute gonna do it every time, baby.
It does it every time. And I'm just being honest. There's been a few, if they were very secure in themselves.
Yes.
You know, because and I'm saying this in humility, but with the talent and things like that, and the beauty, those are things that people just they feel, you know, threatened. So there's only been a handful of pastors' wives who are very kind to me. And so they had to be really really secure in themselves, and they could embrace me. So I had a couple.
Because tell them about the sign that we knew there was an issue there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you want to
speak. Yes. Because when I first got there, I know Bishop had Deborah, prophetess, take me and buy me suits. I think I may have gotten some St. John's. I don't know. It was like 10 suits.
Yeah. I
went into the garment district, and I knew she was not happy about it the whole time. I was like, bye, Felicia. I mean, she just was not happy. And I was like, here I am once again, innocent. I'm like, oh, my pastor is, you know, just blessing me. But he told her.
So to be clear, this was Archbishop who wanted you to get some suits, and the first lady was in her fifis.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Visibly upset. You could tell that she was visibly uncomfortable and just in her feelings. Wow.
Yeah. So we didn't. I mean, I really don't, to be honest with you. And because I was on the ministerial team, I remember conversations and relationships with other ministers, but I couldn't even tell you. We were there for a couple of years, but I couldn't even describe any conversation I've ever had with her.
Wow. And you were the minister of music, for God's sakes. You were working on albums. You were directly contributing to the church. You created the choir for Zoe Ministries. And this lady never had a single conversation, a thank you, they never embraced you as someone who was contributing to her wealth, who was contributing to her business, which is ultimately via her husband. My God.
I just can't recall a conversation. I cannot. But this has been my experience.
Across the board.
This has been my experience.
All right. So now we're going to get into some things. So I have me and Dr. Reed, as well as Bishop, our pastor Blake, have audios in our possession of extramarital behavior from Bishop. When I spoke to James Singletary, he said that there had been long speculation that Bishop was same gender loving, that had kind of been the whispers, that he kept a lot of queer people around him and amidst him. For y'all, what did y'all hear around that? And did y'all also see that in Bishop too?
100%.
100%.
And it was almost like this underpinning, or this unspoken, this hidden it was like an elephant in the room. Like, and remember, you're around a lot of prophetic people. Like, it's almost like everyone knew, but you wouldn't dare say it. Everyone knew or suspected, but and you could see from the people that were around, it was in the air. I mean, it was almost palatable.
Wow.
But we loved them, like, you know. But like I remember Jimmy saying, he said, just walk in your truth.
And Jimmy, everybody, is the nickname for James Singletary, our previous.
We always called him Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Yeah, just, you know, just be real. So it was in the air. I mean, there was nothing that, now I have a close friend who said that there were some things that transpired that her husband saw.
Really?
That he just would never tell her. He said, I'll never tell you what I saw.
Wow. What? As it relates to Bishop Jordan.
And he wouldn't tell her. They've been married forever. Like, he won't tell her. He said, I can never tell you. And I was like, so it was just, it was permeating, and everyone suspected, especially, you know, everyone suspected.
It's one thing to be suspected of being same gender loving. Would y'all suspect him to be someone who would defile his marriage?
Yeah, I would. Yes, of course.
Well, you know what? You are a victim of his deception. So, of course, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I saw that in him prior to us getting married and me going to the church, because that's the first thing I told her. I said, Bishop Jordan, I said, he's not, you know, he's not heterosexual. And she said, well, you know, I mean, and I've been around guys who might appear to be feminine, or they speak a certain way, but they're not.
But they're straight, right?
You know, and then guys who are,
right.
and you know,
can't tell.
No, but I'm saying
some
you know,
right?
And they're not, you know, that's them. And I, you know, in the gym, so you know, it didn't bother me, but it's just that, you know, you're going to there and having to guess, you know, and then seeing this play out. But then the other stuff, I mean, it's like, to me, it's, you know, and then all the other things that you hear about as to, you know, what he's done to other people. And you're like, you say, man, I can't stay under this.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's interesting about that is, if he could defraud Dr. Deborah, then certainly he can defraud any other woman in his life, including his wife. And we have a philosophy in the spiritual community that I travel in, that how you do one thing is typically how you do all things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
and it was interesting, Conscious. I remember, and so that's what I'm saying. There were a lot of prophetic, and we're prophetic and perceptive people. Okay. And I'm a prophetic Scorpio, so that's like double, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I remember when and these things are coming back to me. They had not a series, but remember they had a platform, like it was called Ruth and Boaz, like conversations with Ruth and Boaz. And see, my husband's laughing because we knew intuitively that their marriage was not strong, but yet they were somewhat counseling. They had these meetings, and everybody, you know, people would come and they would tell everybody about relationships and things like this, but it was almost like a farce. It was like, yeah, right.
You're describing a beard, Dr. Deborah. It was coming off as a manufactured marriage, as an arranged marriage. Do y'all think that it's possible that it is a arranged marriage? Is Deborah under the understanding that she's really a single woman who's cosplaying with a closeted man, and the payoff is the lifestyle, the payoff is the glamour and the popularity? And
it grew into that. I mean, initially they didn't have anything, because he started, I mean, with nothing. He was a janitor at one time, worked at the post office, worked his way up.
Yes.
You know, and he was really into, you know, getting in touch with his gift. And you know, so he had this humble beginning. But whatever he had done in the past at a very early age, it attached itself to him and began to form into something different. And, you know, with it, the other things that make up who he is, it just magnified it.
And I do know, Conscious. Yeah. So my husband is saying, yeah, they grew up humble, and I think they really had a bond in terms of spirituality, because he talked about his life of fasting. I think he would fast 3 or 4 days out of the week, like for years. I mean, and so they were very into the prophetic and the spiritual gifting, but things just began to, I think, with the acquisition of material things, I think things began to change. And I would find it, especially as a prophetess, I would find it almost laughable to think that she does not know.
Right.
I mean, that would just be laughable to me, because women also have that other sense where, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I for her not to know, I just don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Do you think it's possible that they're in an open marriage to some degree, or do you think she is aware that her husband is something else, but doesn't quite know what his behavior is outside of the coven, but is aware that he definitely is something else?
She has to know. If they have an arrangement, I don't know, because sometimes you'll be surprised that people are in relationships and are like, you do your thing, as long as I have this, and that, and I get to fly everywhere I want to fly, and I've got all this money, I got my kids and my grandkids, and you'll be surprised. So I'm not really sure, but what I am pretty sure of is that she is aware.
Yeah. And you know what? I can actually answer that, because now that I'm thinking about it, in the audios, when Bishop is on the phone with his male lover, she's in the background. You can hear Deborah in the background, and Bishop is trying to sneak away from her to be able to talk and speak to the things that the lover is saying to him. So yes, it is clear that she obviously she doesn't know about the things, but to your point, may know about his orientation, that he's not completely.
Exactly. Oh yeah, I believe she knows that.
Wow. Are you guys do you guys feel sorry for Deborah? Like, because some people are saying in the chat that, hey, the first lady is always the first one to know, and typically participates in the foolishness of the man of God, and helps to conceal and cover up. Do you guys get the sense that even with her having an attitude with the way he was treating you, with buying the suits and everything, do you guys think she's maybe on some level no better than he is? Or is she a victim of all of this?
That's a good question. I wouldn't say, I really wouldn't say victim. And the reason, because we make our choices, and I think, and sometimes, and I've seen women, we are notorious for this, of becoming bitter. And we walk around, and I always tell people, your heart speaks louder than your words, because I've had people walk up to me, oh, I love you, Dr. Deb, or I love you. And I'm like, you are lying. That's a lie from the pit of hell, because I can feel your energy, your spirit, your heart speaks louder than your words. And so I just don't see her as a victim, because you still have a choice. You always have a choice. You have a choice. Now I'll say this. You have a choice of your environment, your placement, where you are, not only physically, but emotionally and spiritually. So if you say, I love this man, I know how he is, and I'm just going to accept this, then straighten up your attitude. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see her as a victim, because we make choices. We make choices.
We make choices. How do you feel about the husband as it relates to Deborah? Victim or co-conspirator?
I would say to some degree co-conspirator. Because women can see, beyond what a man is saying. And I think as they got further and further into their relationship, she could tell the change and the attraction, the grooming to some of the individuals around him. Because there were other people working around the church, and we were like, my God, I mean, he's in his heaven with this stuff.
Hold on, expound upon our husband. You know, paint the picture for us, like when y'all speak, because
Okay,
like,
people being attracted to the gift.
yes,
But then young, people in Christianity, men, women, wrestling, with identity, coming here thinking that they're going to get a sanctuary or, some type of healing or direction, but it just had a tendency of magnifying who he was.
Yeah.
Not just the money, but the attention from the people like himself or who were victims. Because I don't think he was unless it was initiated with him by someone else, but then he became the perpetrator all the time.
Because it happens.
Whereas you have people that are always victims,
Yeah.
prostitutes, and to some degree, but someone's preying on them, or a child, and
behavior.
That behavior. So, I mean, she clearly knew, and he just unfortunately, was in his heaven, and that's how I saw it. I mean, everyone was wonderful. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to have been there.
And people literally kind of worshipped him. And they do that with pastors oftentimes.
Yes.
But I mean, he was just so dynamic, so charismatic. I mean, he was just like a magnet.
You think about what it could have been.
Oh yeah.
Like had these other things not been crippling to the ministry.
Yeah, had he been really, really good to the people that were there, and like I said, the most creative, artistic people. We had fashion designers. I mean, all kinds of people came through there. All he had to do was be kind, be good to people, because and we talked about this. He didn't have a mega church, but it was so robust and so rich with talent. And I just feel like we probably would have constantly been releasing music and all I mean, I just think it would have been a haven for people coming, getting the prophetic word. And like, to me, not necessarily a mega church, but a place where people will come and land and get what they need. And then they could move on into ministry or business or whatever the case may be. But all he had to do was be kind, because he had the goods. Like, we had really never met anybody like him.
That's always the tragedy of a lot of narcissists, is that they too are charming, they are gifted, they're smart. It's like they have it, and the narcissism sours the whole thing. That personality disorder just rips it all away, and it's so unfortunate. And you guys are,
like Jim Jones.
Like Jim Jones, like so many of them. Yeah, so many. Yeah, it's the same thing over and over and over again. And what you guys are, what's crazy about it is that, to your point, Dr. Deborah, had he continued to just be good to people, he could have actually branched off successfully, probably into developing a school for the gifted.
Listen, man, there was no one that could raise money like Bishop Jordan. No one. I'm sorry.
That's right.
There's almost still no one like him.
Listen, I'll tell you this. I remember I had a bank account in America Bank in Detroit, and I lived in Brooklyn. And I just, I had like $1,010 or something.
1,010.
and he came there at Deb's church, Father's church, and was calling for an offering. But the message, I was so moved. I'd never heard anything like this. And he called for $1,000 offering. I didn't hesitate. I didn't hesitate. And I sowed the seed.
Yeah. Wow. My God. Yeah. So I have a few more questions. Okay. So from Deborah back to Jay. When I spoke to James Singletary, he said that, are you guys aware that Jay was fired by Bishop because?
What were we there when he was fired? I can't remember. I know I heard about
it. He was fired a couple times.
Right. You heard my husband say it. He was fired a couple times and rehired.
So the final time he was fired, it was because he walked into a bathroom that was being occupied by Bishop's 13-year-old grandson who was showering, and he went in to use the bathroom anyway with the young man in the shower. The young man reported that incident to Bernard. Bernard then fired him, but oddly was rehired by Manasseh for whatever reason, and then apparently died from COVID-19 at Manasseh's home. James said that when I asked him, did he believe that Jay's intentions with walking into that bathroom were innocent or nefarious, he said, oh, I know it was nefarious. And he said, I know it because Jay came to Bishop for spiritual counseling regarding his pedophilic disorder. So were you guys aware of that as it relates to Jay? That he
The only thing I knew, what I knew from the spirit, you know what I'm saying? I knew that there was something there, some perversion there with him. I didn't, I wasn't aware of that in terms of with children, but I just knew that something was off. He was almost like the, what is it, like the henchman? Like the henchman. He was like the one who does the dirty.
The right-hand man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I didn't really care for him because just his spirit in general was very.
Because he was active in defrauding you out of your intellectual
property. Correct.
What do you think this implies about Bishop then? He would keep someone who was sexually perversive, someone who, I guess we have to assume that Jay was just a reflection of Bishop. Really, since he was his right-hand man, he was operating on behalf of Bishop in some ways. What does that make you think? What does that make y'all think about Bishop?
And
why would another close relative like your son hire someone who was inappropriate with your own grandson? Why would you keep that in the family? Why would you keep that on payroll? Why would you keep that close?
Maybe because there was something going back and forth between Bishop and his son. And, that's the only reason logically that I could think of,
And to rehire, sometimes people, keep people close that they want to control, or they may, sometimes you have to, and I've seen this too, people, they want to placate people who may have some very illicit or embarrassing or humiliating information about you. And, and we do know that we are a reflection of those that we are around, and we attract,
absolutely,
those who really are a reflection of us, and we know about mirroring. So that's what like I said, we didn't have anything concrete on Jay. I just knew that something was really way off with him. And I remember Manasseh as a little boy around the church. He was quite a pistol.
James said the same thing.
Manasseh
always.
It's like you. It's like how do you harness this energy? Yeah, he was something else. But brilliant child. You knew there was just something special about him.
Yeah. So what was y'all's experience, speaking of that, of the children, of the Jordan children, of the girls, of the guys?
Naomi, what to me was just really, really sweet. I think she's the eldest girl. Naomi, really, really sweet and genuine. I think Bethany was the rebel.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm just looking at them. We were only there for a couple of years. Bethany was the rebel for sure. She would tell it like it is. You could not control her. But once again, dynamic, smart, all of his children. Joshua seemed to be a little bit more on the quiet side and a little more demure. Like he and Naomi seemed to be, but great kids. But like Bethany was the rebel.
Yeah, she was the one who was going to write the tell-all, and then
I had heard, and I was like, I'm like, I'm not surprised because you know what? Because she doesn't like the inauthentic. She doesn't like the charlatan. She doesn't like the fake stuff.
Yep.
Absolutely. She's just
real. Realist. Yeah. Be real. Be authentic. Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. A warrior for the truth. So last but not least, Isaac, the infamous, yes, the infamous Isaac. Isaac, the brother of Bishop Bernard Jordan, who allegedly been claiming, since the beginning of time that his brother violated him as a child, etc. Them having a very, turbulent relationship. There's actual YouTube videos up of him attempting to speak at the funeral of their mom's passing, and Bernard them having his microphone cut off. Allegedly, he was going to confront some things right there in the open. I've been told by James Singletary that Isaac was kind of, it was just weird. He was kind of treated like something else, like the black sheep. Isaac, So what was y'all's experience and interaction with Isaac? Did y'all ever get to know him?
Yes, not like really, really in depth, but just on the surface. Isaac was flamboyant and kind of, boisterous a little bit,
Okay.
but a kind heart,
Kind heart.
kind,
Spirit.
kind-hearted.
Yeah.
And and I think some of it is just being in your brother's shadow, because Bishop is this great prophet, gifted in all kinds of ways, and I think his identity, just finding who he is in his brother's shadow. But he loves his brother.
Yeah.
But he was just a little bit more flamboyant and boisterous. But it's kind of like everybody loved him, though, But you knew there was a little bit of a mark on him as maybe like the black sheep, or But
he come in once every 6 months.
Yeah, he came whenever. He didn't come very often.
Were y'all aware of the allegations? Had y'all ever heard that Isaac?
Not when we were there. Afterward, when we left, we knew people that he told.
Yeah, but this was just not too long ago.
Yeah.
Like within the last couple of years.
Okay, so y'all just heard this.
Yes.
Wow. What? Because that the Jordans are watching. All of them are watching right now. They all watch. They all watch. What? I know that you said that you basically alluded to closure, and apology, and accountability. Take responsibility and own what you've done to good people who tried to love you, good people who tried to serve you, good people who, believed in you. What and before we get there, I want to ask, with all of this now taken into consideration, everything that you've personally experienced, everything that y'all are now witnessing, even that happened, outside of y'all, what is y'all's current attitude of Bishop? Who do y'all think he is? What is he?
He is an anomaly.
Anomaly. That's a great word.
And when I say that, I had never encountered someone like him. When I look at, just sometimes just being in his presence, because of the God-given charisma, the intellect, the gifting, he is an anomaly. And on the flip side, it's like the other side where there is maybe a shadow self. That is the frightening part. So I hope that makes sense.
Great word, great description. Anomaly. Hubby, what is and who is Bishop Bernard Jordan?
Well, I mean, I guess I see him in the same way to some degree. I mean, the gifting, I mean, that would always be with me, who he was at the early part, and then also the latter part. But I mean, I've forgiven him.
Yeah.
For that. It's just that I would like people to know that, to be more discerning. You have to know the word and know who you are. And when you see signs, begin to investigate, begin to pray, and then just move on if you're not clear. I mean, you're not going to find a perfect church, but there are some things that go, that shouldn't be counted among us that we do to one another, and it's like they're more accountable. If you're the head, you're more accountable, and you're supposed to be the greater servant.
And that's what people don't understand. And so my husband and I, we understand that when Jesus said, let him who is the chief be the servant. Now, I'm a principal at a school.
Yeah.
I run a music department. And my focus, the anchor and the foundation of what I do is how can I serve this community?
Yes.
And sometimes I feel almost uncomfortable when people bless me. And they do. Like even my music department, we had a concert recently and they just showered me. And I'm getting emotional even now because Jesus said, if you are the chief, you must be the servant. And so we don't see a lot of servanthood. We see preachers, they got their armor bearers and their their pastoral care groups, and that's all fine.
Yeah.
But Jesus, you could touch him. And he was God.
Yeah. It was tangible.
He was touchable.
Yeah.
Because if he didn't touch you, he let you touch him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the woman with the issue of blood. And so this is hurtful. I mean, believe me, we don't, we're not angry.
Right.
And it was difficult almost coming on here. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
She didn't, she was kind of reserved, but I wanted to. I would
absolutely. It was a husband that contacted me. You're like, look, I saw that interview.
I would have said this is what my wife wanted to say.
But I want to see conscious, I want to see true ministry. That's my heart.
Yeah.
I don't want to see people abused. Now, the scripture talks about offenses will come because we're human. We step on each other's toes, those kinds of things. But where's the love? Where's the forgiveness? Where's the kindness? Yeah. And so, like I said, my foundation, seeing pastors who loved people, like you could come in their house, in their car, they're driving, people going out of town with us, going to the Pistons game with us. We're like, oh my God, more people, but my parents understood servanthood. And so a leader, if something happens at my school, they're going to look at Dr. Deborah K. Charman.
Yes.
They're not looking at my teachers, my students. They're not saying, oh, those crazy teachers, those crazy students, those crazy parents, that crazy principal. Why did she let this happen? And so leadership, this is my heart. Leadership is for the purpose of security, that's emotional and physical, support, and structure. And when those things don't take place, you can have structure, but there's no security because you're abusing me verbally. I don't feel safe around you. So these are the things I'm passionate about. And so we love Bishop Jordan. Like I said, when I saw him on Larry, I was like, oh my God, I hadn't seen him in years. We love him. Yeah. But we want him to be whole. We want his soul to be integrated. We want him to be whole and to be healed. And the word says that we confess our sins so that we may be healed, because we are not meant to carry all the things that we carry.
Exactly.
When we carry burdens and we carry regrets and we look at how we've treated people, things we've done, we're not meant to carry that in our souls. Our souls start to become really polluted.
Yep.
And so that's all I want. I want to see, and this is across the board, because all the things I see, that, influencers talk about and all the things that go on, I'm thinking, Lord, how did we get to this place? And we put a tag as Christians or followers of Christ. How did we get to this place?
Get there. Yeah.
So that's all I want to see. I want to see true leadership arise.
I wonder if
selfless leadership.
Absolutely. I wonder if it's because, because Christ said that what goes in comes out. And what Christ was talking about is our points of attraction. And I wonder if it's because of Bishop obsessive gang stalking of wealth and money and materiality that has caused a corrosion of his humanity. I wonder if that.
Yes.
And then that's also integrated and collaborating along with, to your point, Dr. Deborah and Anthony, a lot of the undealt with trauma, the undealt with shadow work, a lot of the injuries that have not really been genuinely addressed, and that's culminating in this.
I mean, if what was alleged with his brother is true, could you imagine
The pain.
the
Absolutely.
pain? And if when that happened had to be when they were very young,
Yeah.
and growing up with this, and then when you see your brother,
Mhm.
you're confronted with this.
Yeah.
And then at night,
Hmm.
how do you get, it's,
Yeah.
but there's healing at the cross.
There's
I mean,
healing.
for everyone. But part of that healing is grabbing your brother and saying, look,
Confession.
confession. You have to.
Yeah. Accountability. Yeah. Yeah. And back to what Dr. Deborah said about the leadership is, you sound like me, because I always tell people, a person who's ready for leadership when they, for one, have great character, but for two, are a great servant. You cannot lead without being a great follower and servant and contributor first and foremost. Like, leadership is the pivotal of servitude.
Absolutely.
My wife was such a giver at Zoe and other ministries too. We had this young guy, and he was a drug addict.
Oh.
And she gave him money, and then the next time I saw her giving him, I said, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, brother so-and-so asked me for something. And I told him, I said, next time you come and you ask me.
Right.
Because I realized that
Yes.
mistaking her kindness,
Yes.
and all the time. And I'm like, no.
Yes. Because
you're a musician playing for Bishop. You go ask him for some money.
I always tell people, a manifestation of the polarity is the feminine represents the virtue and the masculine, it represents the law. And that's the balance too.
That's right. That's right. Because see, he's even with rearing our children, and this is, the masculine and feminine. We won't get into this, but the masculine and feminine energy of the image of God, and people just try to act like there is no feminine energy of God.
Right.
Yeah.
And we know in the original text, Holy Spirit was he, she, or it, but you wouldn't dare call him she, because people would go crazy in church.
Yes.
But the Father is like, why did you do that? You're going to pay for that. And then the mother comes along, oh, baby, you did that, but we still love you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's I'll use the word loosely, dichotomy of who God is, the male and the masculine and feminine energy, the grace and the law. Yeah. There's a marriage. And when we find that, understanding that really at the end of the day, it's nothing but God's love for us.
Yes.
Because sometimes he will chasten us, and sometimes he'll pick us up and kiss our little boo-boo.
Yes. Both the caregiver and the chastiser.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wow. Incredible. Jesus. You know what's amazing about the human spirit is that people can have gone through it and then still recalibrate back to that love. So for you all to have had this experience with the Jordans, and obviously there was betrayal, there was defrauding, there was all of that, and y'all still not want to see him bust hell wide open.
Oh no.
Value.
We love him.
Yeah. But because y'all are a people of principle, y'all want to see accountability though. Not condemnation, but accountability. Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah. Correct. Wow. Is there anything else that you all would like to share as it relates to y'all's experience before we wrap up?
I can't think of anything.
Now, I have a question for you,
yes.
Constance. Have you met Bishop Jordan in person?
No, not in person. I've spoken to him and had engagements with him, but no, not in person.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But what made you ask that question?
Well, because when you meet him in person, there's you get to see the real deal.
Yeah.
And especially if you could sit down. I mean, we I've cooked for him and we've gone out to eat, in the beginning, but you get to see that person one-on-one, and sometimes in getting to meet the person, you see that's what the best side they want you to see.
Yeah.
But having to work for them, right?
Yeah.
You get to see the dirt, and some things, yes, it's human. It's that's something that we may all wrestle with, bad attitude or something like that. But this other stuff, I mean, no.
Yeah.
You can't overlook it. And I refuse to allow my family to be part of that.
Absolutely.
And I just felt for the people that stayed.
Yeah.
And how do you say something without people saying, oh, well, you're just bitter or you're slandering and so forth. So they had to see and go through some of that.
Absolutely.
I know this one, he had left his job in corporate to come do Bishop's graphics and so on. And then Bishop tossed him like, used toy. Okay, we're done with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I really wish that as a people, we would get super clear about what we categorize as a mistake versus what is, in fact, a character flaw. And when we see character flaws, we need to run. That's when the guards need to go up. There's a difference between a casual mistake and somebody just being temporarily unconscious or whatever it is versus something that is perpetual behavior, like perpetually untrustworthy, perpetually cunning, perpetually manipulative, perpetually, a lot.
Since we're in church, the individuals that are alongside of him, they never held him accountable.
Never.
You understand? Because they didn't want to be put out on the street.
Yeah. Wow.
Like the one, there was a pastor that we raised money for. And he was a home was purchased for him, and then eventually he was kicked out of it.
Wow. All because of what?
Not sure what happened. Yeah.
Maybe he saw something that he shouldn't have saw. Maybe he spoke up for something.
Or Bishop just wanted that house.
Or he just
wanted that house back, that property back, and his time was up. Because this man would worship
the ground
Bishop walked on. I mean, he was a faithful servant, but there are things that he was complicit in, and I didn't like that. And I just thought that they just didn't have backbones.
And I'm just looking at what Dr. Reed said. You can love someone and tell the truth about them too. And that was difficult, for me. Like for tonight, I'm like, but you know what? If this is going to help someone, that's what is important. And then I thought, well, would you want someone to do that to you? And I said, absolutely. Because if I'm out of pocket, set me straight.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Set me straight. Let me get healed. Yeah. And so, once again,
love is informative, Dr. Deborah. Love must call you on your stuff so that you have the information to do it better.
That's right. That's right. And so many people think love is, blind, so to speak. You just turn and deaf. You turn a deaf ear to what you're hearing. You turn a blind eye to what you're seeing. But no, we have to confront these things. We have to confront these things. Even the scripture talks about if, it puts the responsibility on every single individual. And when Michael Jackson said, look at the man in the mirror, the scripture says, if you have aught with your brother, go to him.
Absolutely.
And then it also says, if your brother has sinned against you, you go to him. Absolutely. So the finger is pointed at us at all times. We don't have an excuse.
None. Yep. Except for our own people-pleasing complexities, which we get from a society that rewards complicitness. It rewards silence in that way. And oftentimes the rebuttal to transparency is shame. So a lot of people are uncomfortable with being confrontational. They're uncomfortable with speaking up because they're going to be met with resistance that they've not been prepared for. And so people will rather acquiesce, unfortunately, and conform and go along to get along, but then at the same time be recipients of the problem. You can't go along to get along and get better either.
Yeah, and I was going to say one of the saddest things I've seen in the Black church is that we talk about the white man as the oppressor, but then we get a Black man in a pulpit and he becomes the oppressor.
Learned behavior.
I've seen it so many times. I'm like, man, we really need to get delivered because we're used to, if we're used to the oppression and the racism and discrimination, we're used to that pain. And so you can put a black man in a pulpit and he'll do the same thing to you, and you will be like, yes, massa.
Absolutely. That's why earlier I said from the sound of it, sounded like he was running a plantation. I mean, it was the work, it was the underpay. I mean, it was the hooting and the hollering and just all of the theatrics and all of the entitlement. I mean, that's not the house of God. The house of God is balanced, and to your point, the house of the Lord actually serves. You are replenished when you're in a truly effective and healthy system of give and take. There is giving and taking for one, and there's receiving, and that receiving is equivalent measure to giving. It's balanced. So I'm happy that you guys were able to come out of this, for one, and that you guys are also not vacuumed into the cultishness. And I guess that's my final question here is, would you deem the ministry a cult? And what do you define as a cult? Because a lot of people are using the word cult to describe this.
Right. So I would say to some degree, yes, which I think most Black churches are. Because cult comes from the root word of culture. And it's just a way of doing things. It's how we do things. But there's also the undercurrent of control.
Yeah.
And so most of the Black churches, from what I have seen, once again, you see everything that's out on social media, and people will stand by men of God no matter what they do. And I've heard excuses like, well, he's only human. He puts his pants on one leg at a time like the rest of us. But the Bible says that if you are a teacher, you are more accountable.
Yeah.
You're held to a higher standard.
Heavy is the head, over the crown.
So the cult, yes, the average Black church, the religious system is a cult because it is controlled. It is a culture that brainwashes you into thinking the way everybody else thinks, and you better not have an opinion of your own. So yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this was really amazing.
And before I forget, you can go and watch the video. It's called Come Together, and you'd see Deborah and you'd see James Singletary in there.
Send it to me so I can post it on my community wall. Send it to me so I can post it. Yeah. Amazing. Well, I want to thank you guys for sharing and trusting the platform with y'all's story, with y'all's testimonies. James, or as you like to call him, Jimmy, he prophesied this. He said, look, I think you're going to hear from more people. And my God, I'm hearing from more.
Bishop Jordan prophesied it. His sons and his daughters are going to come back.
And here we are.
This is the way.
Hey, y'all are coming.
Yeah.
That was a slate. That was a word.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. You said it out pre-interview. You said, he said, we're all returning. He just didn't know in what fashion we were returning. Oh, yeah, we were returning all right. Returning for the helmet of accountability.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Conscious, I want to say, we appreciate you, because just hearing your voice, I told my husband, I said, gosh, this man is something else. I mean, your spirit, and your gift and what God has placed, the seed of God in you, whether people realize it or not, is powerful. And God has placed you here for this purpose. And like I said, just hearing your voice, it just brought calm. And I'm telling you, it's funny, after we talked to you a few days ago, and then we went to bed and we were like, we both slept so well. Remember, we both got up. I was like, wait, I gotta go to work. Or we go to the gym sometimes. And I was like, God, that was the most peaceful sleep. It was. Yeah, I said, it's like something was released and deposited. So we bless God for you and your gift and your calling, and continue to be who you are and who God has called you to be.
I received that. I thank y'all for that. I received that. Absolutely. Yeah, I received that. Is there anywhere that y'all want people to follow you? Because y'all musicians and sing, I mean, have an online.
He's not a whole lot on social media, and I just got back on social media, but I'm Deborah K. .songs on IG, songs spelled with SONGZ, and then I'm Deborah K. Charman on Facebook.
That part. Well, I hope you all are going to be willing to return, because we got to talk, y'all. We got to get into more love story. Look, because look, y'all are a part of a very minority class of people who are successfully married, successfully happy, successfully got love. So y'all incubated around a lot of lonely people, and I want y'all to tell you how to find them some love, baby. How they can pray some love into their life, baby. How to make a relationship work, child. How to get up in this thing. So I want to bring y'all back to get into a love conversation, and maybe we can even have some single people, some single men and women who are looking to find a wife and attract their husbands, etc. And you guys can maybe speak to some tips.
Yes, we've got we've got over 3 decades.
3 decades.
32 years.
Well, I'm sending. I bless y'all to death and eternity does y'all no part, baby, to the end of all ends and the beginnings of all beginnings, because it's amazing. Well, thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all, and I will be staying in contact.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
This was wonderful, you guys. This was the say it one more time again. Charmin. I was about to say, yep, the Charmins, you guys. All right, the Charmins. See y'all later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Baby, it's a lot going on. Larry says Conscious is one of the best commentators online. You know, I received that. Larry also said to me privately, he said that, you know, this thing is prophetically unfolding. I can see that this thing is prophetically unfolding. Even the Charmins being freed from whatever the residual was from this experience is even more evident of that. The fact that I'm not even having to outsource for any of this is all coming to me. Is all organically showing up. Everything is organically showing up. You know, I can't say what the intent is right now, you guys, because I'm just going with the flow of whatever this is that is creating itself. It's almost writing itself like a scarlet letter. I'm curious if Dr. Reed, if you're in the chat, I don't know if you can even answer this right now, but I'm wondering, do you feel okay? I'm about to okay, because I had a question for you. So we about to bring Dr. Reed up, you guys. You guys, thumbs up, honey. It's not over, honey. Get your likes up, honey. Share on Twitter, share on X, share across the board, child. Dr. Reed is about to make his entrance into one of the greatest platforms on social media. Okay. Because my question to you, Dr. Reed, is I'm wondering if with all of this, if you're feeling even more compelled yourself as you hear various experiences and descriptions regarding your previous mentor. So we're waiting on Dr. Reed right now, you guys. You guys can thumbs up the video. This was an incredible interview. Once again, if there's anybody who, you know, has an experience and wants to speak through the platform, you're welcome to contact me at consciouztv@gmail.com. I dropped the link for you, Dr. Reed. Let me drop it again. You guys can also contact me on social media at Instagram. That's where the Charmins have contacted me. That's also where James contacted me, I believe, too. It's Instagram. So through email and DMs. Let me send Dr. Reed this StreamYard link to his phone. You guys want the lights up. We're waiting on Dr. Reed to enter. He's about to come up and speak. Man, this thing is off the chain, y'all. This thing is off the chain. And for those of you who are just coming in, Dr. Deborah and her husband. Oh, here it is. Welcome to the platform, Dr. Reed.
Hey, how you doing? Hold on.
I am. This is incredible.
I want to say something to you.
Okay.
because I'm gonna say to you what somebody should have said to me, but maybe they couldn't say it because they didn't know. But it is very evident to me that you right now, as it relates to this conversation and leading this conversation, I think that you are meant to do it. I couldn't. Well, I know right now I can't. I don't know if I'm ever going to go on my platform and say anything at all. And if I do, I don't even, when I tell you, I don't want to have it in my mind. So I know that it has to be done. It has to be said. And now I know from listening to Singletary and listening to Deborah and Anthony. First of all, let me say I don't know any of these people. I've never spoke to them. I never had any communication with them. I didn't even know they existed. I had never heard their name. I'm learning with the rest of the Conscious crew. And you didn't even share with me, what they were going to say. You just done it. And so I'm watching from the outside. And I just want to say to you that it's meant, you probably already know this, but I just wanted to say this. It's meant for you to talk about this. And I think you're the great neutral ground. You're not in the church sector, but you do cover the stuff sometimes. You are a free agent. You don't like me. And it was just meant to be. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm probably gonna go to members only. I think I need to. I want to put it out here in public. So yeah, I am gonna go to members.
I'm gonna put it out here anyway. After you put it out there, I'm gonna come back out here.
Well, it's different from me being a members only talking versus and you talking about what I'm talking about. That's fine. I don't mind that. You can do that. Now the rest of y'all content creators, I might strike you.
Back.
But I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I said except for a quarter of the interview, I was dry-eyed. I ran tears the entire.
Really, Dr. Reed? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was your first comment is it concerning? So let's about the tears. I want to know what was your emotional experience? What were the tears?
Well, you know how sometimes well, for me, my emotions are illogical, and I'm a logical person.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even feel right saying why I was crying because it's illogical. But what it was, I felt like, and this has not been shady, but just listening, I felt like initially, oh my God, the people that went over there because of me. How are they? Do anybody know? So it's been in that space as a protector. It just messed with me, and then I'm in my mind. I'm going through all of every time Bernard was on my platform. Every time I heard somebody saying, "Oh, I'm working with Bernard now and Zoe Ministries, and I'm in Poem," and I'm like, "Oh, that's great," during that time. And now I'm like, ugh, are they safe, or what has happened? Have they lost all their money? Have they refinanced their homes? Or, I'm worried about I'm thinking about the workers that I know that worked there. They come and they go to fire. I was only around 4.5 years ago. These what they said, and Singletary.
Yeah.
I heard some of the stuff. I asked about it. I was given explanations, and life went on. And now to hear, it's just like, whoa. And a lot of this stuff I heard afterwards. 85% of it. And I don't understand. I just don't understand why me coming into his life, he didn't recognize prophetically that this was his new chance. Because it's clear to me, listening to what Deborah was saying, there was this thing that was on him in the first family of prophecy, and they were moving it forward, but something happened.
Yeah.
And something got hijacked. And whatever that was, it's almost like heaven was like, okay, I got it. Your first time having money as Black people, you got a little caught up. Well, so maybe you done learned your lessons. You'd have been in the counseling. You'd have been in the landmark. You'd have been to this place, that place. So let me cause you to meet Larry. Larry is going to research you using social media as a medium, which is what heaven told me. The reason when he asked me, could he be my mentor, I had to go pray. And that's one of the things heaven told me. And I came back and told him. So I see now, I was his, I don't want to say last chance, but it's like his new resurgence.
Yes.
And to be different and to do different.
Yes.
And it looks like that he didn't learn from how he handled other people and handled, the guy on my audio, me, Matthew.
Yeah.
And it just, and then some other stuff.
I be handling Deborah.
Well, there's some other stuff I know. I heard from someone today.
Oh.
And
we will be on the phone later.
I'll give you their number. I don't want nothing to do with it. I told them that they wanted to come on my platform. I said, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
They said, why? And I hear what you say, Conscious. I hear everybody say in the chat.
A lot of people asking why.
Yeah, but if you ask me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. So I'm not protecting anybody. And if you're my members only, I tell y'all all the truth. But to get on the platform that I use to research him and to kill him. Now, that's the way that I am saying it.
Yeah.
Because it's the way it feels, although it may not be the truth. The truth is I can go on my platform and say something very vague that is very clear, and I be done my part. Because I did push a lot of people to his systems. And even when she mentioned that, oh my God. Y'all heard it one way, I heard it another way, because I've seen some stuff. I wasn't as in as these people were. I never was in poem. I was consistently around. Y'all saw when I was around Bernard. There was never a time I was around Bernard and you guys didn't know it. It was always posted. Those are the times that we were physically together. Our relationship was open. And I just don't see myself ever getting on my platform and addressing it a certain kind of way. If I have to, I will. Yeah. Quite frankly, these 2 interviews got me thinking about it.
Yes.
And I just feel burdened. And maybe I shouldn't say this, but I want to say that. I want to say to anybody watching and you went and had a bad experience and it was because of me, I want to say I'm sorry. And let me say it like this. And I saw somebody say something in the chat, but they didn't know what they was talking about. Because I met Rosalind Weems through Bernard. So what they say wasn't even true. Yeah. She wasn't the only person from his community that I introduced to my people and had in Patreon. There's like 7 more. And so that came from out of Bernard's ministry. So that's just not even, I'm not responsible for that.
Yep.
However, I do feel, like I said, my feelings and my logic right now, not shaking hands. I do feel that I do have responsibility on some level. Fault, no, but responsibility to say on my platform.
Because I want to add this. You would only be at fault had you known what all you now know, and then still resurrected this person.
Oh, hell no. But I was saying the whole time, anybody that watched our relationship on the platform, I kept saying, y'all, I went over this man's life with a fine-tooth comb. Yeah. I kept saying that. I said, I be watching.
And let me tell you this too, Dr. Ray. The reason why God, because you a prophet too, and you got the gift of the eye, but the reason why God didn't allow you to see it is because, first of all, God knew you would have actually had to see it to believe it, for one.
Well, let me say this, because somebody else said that. That's not true that I didn't see it. I just asked questions and I was lied to. And me, the way that I'm wired, and you know this from when we used to be friends. You walk up and say we ain't friends. By the way, so you know this. If you tell me the sky's purple, I'm like, oh, okay. And it's just my natural. I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm accept what you're saying. Unless I get a check or I see something different, I'm going to fully believe what you said. So when I heard about, there is absolutely nothing you guys heard from Singletary that I did not know.
Okay, hold on, wait. So my question is, but even with his responses, would your prophetic activate again and be like, I know that's not true. I can, or you took his answers in such a way that you deactivated your prophetic sense and just took it at face value.
No, I just kept flinging it off. And I would discuss it with Shamako because he was the one of many that was saying,
no. Really? Shamako was saying no.
Oh, the entire time. Wow. But let me tell you what happened. You know, I'm gonna tell that in members. But right after I agreed for him to be my mentor, my first trip to New York, I was dropped down in a vision. And I wrote it all out, recorded the date and the time. So people around me was able to send it back to me when all this stuff started coming out. The first day I went, I had a vision of everything that they are discussing. And I said, you know, maybe because the way my site get work, maybe I'm in the past. Or maybe I'm in somebody's intention and desire, and it's creating this visual for me. And I discussed it. I told him word for word. Then we came back home, and a little months passed. It's still 2019, which is the year he started mentoring me. And Mako had a dream. And he dreamed the other piece. And so I said, Shamako is out of all the prophets I've trained, he's the longest running, the eldest. So if he come out his face saying something, you do well to listen. And so I noted it, and I never forgot it. So this is terribly unfortunate. And like I said before, and I'm glad Deborah said this, she said that she loved him. Somebody in the chat said, how you say you love him and then you airing out his business? First of all, that's not true. That's not true. Nobody's airing out business. What happened was Bernard came out here airing out other people's business. That was a seed. And we're looking at the harvest of his actions and his words. So to put that on these people, Singletary,
and even you, they put it on you.
I mean, but how you put it on me, I ain't told yet.
Well, they're talking about that infamous members only that happened last year, where a lot of told. But
yeah, but I still ain't told everything, you know. And you know the stuff that has happened since then, and stuff on the audio. I didn't share all of that.
But the point is that this is harvest, like you said.
It is.
Harvest. Yeah.
Because look, you hear what that guy said the other day? He said, he kept mentioning, I'm like, oh my God, if he quit saying this, people going to think we working behind the scene. I don't even know who he is. He kept saying the reason why is the way he handled Larry. So we're seeing that it is the result of the seed he planted, because Larry wasn't out here jumping around to platforms talking about Bernard. The only platform I will go to, that platform, and now I'm on this platform. Nobody else can say, but these are the same two platforms I talk on if I want to hit the link, except for include Lead Turner and Pam too. But no, I don't. This is what he did. Look at Conscious. Conscious won't even end any of this. This been going on for how many, all year last year. Then out the blue, Conscious.
What do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that it's been going on for this long?
But see, that's why I said what I said when I came here. Reason why I wanted to hit the link. You the one, and this is the thing that I'm thinking about in my head, because I know I spit word. I'm like, wait a minute, is Conscious the one? Cause I was a no. Am I did I disobey and didn't hear something? I did think of that, but I just think listening, you're the perfect person, cause you are outside of all of it. You don't have any attachments. You read me, you read Bernard.
No, I think you landed on it. I'm the substitute you in this situation. This is
all right. I'm about to go.
Don't go. This is supposed to be you.
I'm about to go.
This is supposed to be you.
I'm about to go.
And look, Dr. Reed, I am completely convinced that you literally had this experience, not in totality, but definitely in major part, because God is rounding Bishop Bernard Jordan up through you. Like, this is the round up. You had to be in this. You had to get to know him. God had to let you also go in blind and let you also have the capacity to kind of just shove it off and kind of ignore some of the signs, even the prophetic word of Shemako, even what you were picking up on, like God needed you to go in. You didn't even know. See, you went in love, but didn't even know that God was using you really as an informant, as a spiritual informant.
Ooh, jeez. That's something.
Yeah. And you now have the body what you regurgitated back to Dr. Deborah, which was that there ain't no shame in sin in telling the truth. And that's all the people are asking you to do about this defected recall. I mean, about this defective product that needs to be recalled. If they ain't asking you to condemn, they ain't asking you to destroy. I ain't even.
Because I'm not going to do that. No. I got that, and I will consider. I am already considering.
Yeah.
Oh, it just creeps me out so bad.
And we understand why. It's because of the love. It's going to naturally feel uncomfortable because you love this person and you don't even want to have to tell the truth, yet alone this truth. And nobody who loves anybody does. Nobody.
I'm gonna say this. No, I'm gonna say it in the members only. Write down that person name that was on that audio.
Yeah.
I need to say something about that.
Okay.
And I need to say something about God, I said I'm gonna say the members only when Conscious said something earlier. Oh, I hope I remember. It probably just come up once I go live. But I'm gonna go back my business. I just want to come up here and tell you that excellent interview.
Hold on, ain't you was finna say something about the audios? You talking about in the members only that you're gonna speak to something?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not so much the audio. It is this person. I don't know. I think I am.
Yeah, because there's a whole conversation around that too, as you know.
Yeah. Do you feel like with this thing? If I do that on my platform, I'm not protecting anybody.
You shouldn't. You should.
Well, you know what I'm talking
about. I do.
Okay. I'm not protecting nobody.
Yes, you shouldn't.
Because what they be saying, like when they talk to us on their relationship, their audio is saying a whole nother story. And I don't think they remember that I have. Well, they know I got the audio, but I don't know if they remember I got that audio.
Right.
And I'm like, you saying is this for the sake of your everybody in this don't want to tell the truth.
Right, because there's liability on all sides. But you not telling the truth too is making people believe that about you, that there's liability there.
Now wait, don't say that. You trying to get me to go
the
lie.
the streets are using that same logic. You're saying why? Because if it was anybody else, and
That's true. If it was, that's true. That's true. If it was somebody else, you're exactly right. You are right. That is true. That is true.
So
I mean, but don't be putting me in category with folk that have.
I'm saying that's what the streets. I'm saying the streets are saying that. But
I'm talking to the streets. I know they're watching in your bushes. What I'm saying, don't put me in that category. Cause let me say this: nobody's gonna come out on social media and tell y'all anything that ain't said out of my mouth. So don't put. So that's not true with them. They got one face for this and another face behind the closed door. See, that is my superpower. And I would have came out here out the gate telling every little tiny little thing early on, but I was using discretion. But that little discretion cost me. I mean, like I hide and I lie. So I made a decision. Okay, and I'm not even doing discretion no more. I'm just gonna tell everything.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Could a big part of why you running, are apprehensive about getting into this, is because this is your way of avoiding the pain of the guilt that you alluded to earlier? Like, it's like, because with you having a humanitarian philanthropist spirit, and you know, obviously having a calling toward people, and then to have to sit in the thought of, I've done something, even if it was indirectly and accidentally, that has potentially caused harm and further harm to innocent people, would be a massive injury to somebody who has a big heart and a big love for people. Imagine that
that's what it is. That's what it. And you articulated in part, and I know better, but my heart feels broke for the possibility that someone has. I mean, think about it. I was there in the 4.5 years. That time period, I generated about 16 million. What I was supposed to give to them was 1.6. What I gave was 3+. Okay, that's me. What if somebody gave 3,000 in that same period and they generated 4? There is an aggression that is in that system that they have that makes you do more than what is harmless for you. And you know, that's the other thing. When I went to Spirit and asked about mentorship, Spirit told me, said he will ask you to do more than I. Spirit told me that's in 2000. He asked me in 2018. I did it in 2019. So from 2019 to November 2024, he was my mentor. And I really, 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 really hope. Well, I just hope that people can recover, because I recovered, and it wasn't easy to disengage, untangle, put new processes, system, make decisions around this, that, let that go, and I was able to recover. But what about those who don't generate what I generate, don't have the grace on their life that I have, and they're struggling right now,
right?
Trying to replenish and refocus their money because they thought the only investment that they should have been involved in was seed time and harvest. Yeah. You know, so I think about that, and that is what made me just run tears and breathe deep, coming like, God, this is so bad. Oh, I walked in the house and in the room where the workers be, where there are 2 rooms, and one was upstairs and one was on the main floor, with all of these oils and stones and things that go in the mail that you send out all the time. And there was only one guy that was in there working, but it was working. I remember coming in there. I just started coming around, and I said, "No, this got to go out." And I saw that, and I remember thinking, just a little check, and throw it away until tonight when she's talking about, I'm paid $300 to do music, but I'm back here having to do this. Now, to Zoe Ministries, defense, if there is, it could have been where they were in the ministry and the budget. I'm right there now, to where I can't contract your business to do one thing for me. You need to be able to do more than one thing to get this check I'm going to give you, because we're in a different kind of economy. I don't know where they were at that time. So that's a possibility. But even with that, when you got a man who is seeing his wife, and this happens a lot in the Black church, be dedicated and overly dedicated to the ministry and to its leader, that pastor, and then it leaves the family in a deficit. I understand everything he said. I watched this man, Anthony, hold himself, looking at his wife. I can look at him and tell he loved that woman. And he is sitting there holding himself because she is presenting in a nice, balanced way. But he's wanting to, that I've seen that kind of thing several times in the church. And that's why a lot of Black straight men don't go to church.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them at all. So I'm going to go ahead and members.
What do you think about the intentional defrauding, him having her sign have her sign her intellectual property away, her trusting and believing that Bishop would not, that anything presented by him to her is something that she didn't even have to read, because that's how much trust she had. She just knew, it would be fair, you would take care of me. And then to find out that he was actually paying people according to all of their roles. He just wasn't paying her. She created a choir. She did all of this. She was producing. He didn't want to pay her.
Well, the men get more money. Just make it clear.
And that's the sexist economic inequality that exists.
Whatever the reason, the men get paid more, unless you are, and this is just from what I've seen. And I don't know everything. I've not seen no checks. I've not seen no transfers. It just seems as though because the men have to be with him and travel with him and be around him and around the house, although there are some women that be at the house as well, I think that they're just compensated more because of their time. That's just me saying from what I have seen. The women tend to serve, but they serve from over there from the other room with the rest of the women. It's almost like they aren't brought in as close.
Except that wasn't her case, because she was working 7 days. I said, except that wasn't her case. She was working 7 days a week. Like,
she wasn't close. You can hear about what she said. She wasn't close to him. She was involved in the work. She wasn't close to him.
She wasn't being compensated for the work that he was directly profiting from. And he was literally paying other musicians their rate and intentionally just not paying her for the same work that she's providing that other male counterparts. That's the sexist.
Right. But she didn't ever speak up about it. It was her husband, right?
Yeah, he came to whip ass.
This is what I'm saying. What I've seen, the dynamic is the men are compensated better than the women. I don't have any proof of that, but
that's also not the case, because James Singletary also was somebody who is claiming that he was not paid for his professional musical services.
Oh Lord, you just gonna make it, but I don't care what I say. I'm trying to smooth it over. You just gonna go right.
I'm here for the I'm here for the alleged victims. I'm not here to Because the problem is, right, this is already a man who's taken up too much space in the grace department, while other people who actually deserve that grace and deserve the affirmation behind their experiences are the ones who end up. So I'm not per se here to continue to amplify grace around him when there are people who, you know, because they're not the archbishop in this case, they're not the pastor in this case, they're not the center, they're already not, you know, like they're already struggling to have their experience, you know, understood in its context. So bishop is just like, you know, it's like there ain't no it's you.
What will get me? I just wouldn't do that to nobody. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure some people in your life will say, Conscious did this to me. The people in my life will say, I did this to, because the dynamics of relationship.
And I love how that's all that they can say, but they can't prove Consciouztv did this.
I mean, but they can still tell their story.
Yeah, they can say all they want to say. They can never prove it.
Yeah.
I can prove what people did to me.
Right.
But when I've been really victimized, I can prove it because that's the true victim of it all.
Right. But what I'm saying is, there's somebody that can talk negative about all of us.
Anybody can talk negative about anybody. Yeah.
But this that we are hearing, and then I've seen some stuff too. So
and that's what's here too, is that all these people, even though they're sharing their experience, they all still profess to love this man. They don't even want to see this man in hell.
Let me tell you why. And this is something that hit me while y'all was talking. Oh God, I remember this from dealing with somebody else. And when I look at Bernard, I was like, God, that's true. This man is so intoxicating and charming. And he likes to laugh. I love to laugh. Some of his jokes be inappropriate. So me, him, and Carlton and George would do that all the time. But even that's funny. And we'll just have a great time. He's a great, what in the gay community say, a good key. A key.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
That's Bernard. So when you have that, and then you look at the gifting aspect, it's the shadow that where all this stuff is at. Mm-hmm. And you don't see that, to Anthony's point, unless you are in a situation, typically a work or professional situation where you see that, or if you're in a horizontal relationship with him and you have to correct, or you want to have, autonomy or something, and then that triggers him up. I've seen that. So that hitting the table, cussing, seen it firsthand. I've seen that firsthand. I've seen a little situation happen. He take it and make it a huge thing, and it harms somebody. And but then he'll flip and then let him back and fix it all over again. And that I never understood.
Not like for the sake of his own ego, because it's a power thing that he's proven to itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
and go, I can't read it.
There are a lot of people that's going to come to you, and I'm going to tell the young man that.
Isaac had even dropped down in my chat. I saw it. Now I don't know if Isaac is going to come forward, and if he wants.
Man, he's been dealing with this for years. I haven't spoken with him. He's been dealing with this for several years. And I can only imagine how much he has experienced at the hand of Bernard that we don't even know anything about.
Can you tell me about why you're saying 7 years instead of his whole life? What do you mean 7 years?
Put in the for me to say on members only, put Isaac. Isaac and money. I'm gonna tell that story.
What do you mean 7 years instead of his whole life? What about the 7 years is the mark?
I said 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
What did I say?
7 years, ain't it? Like you said, people dealing with this for 7 years. You said
several. I said several. Mm-hmm. He's been dealing with this for several years.
What is this? What you mean this? Like, what is the this?
Bernard. I don't know. Let me explain something. Bernard hate Isaac.
So that's what I mean. But why are you saying several years instead of his whole life? Like, what you mean 7 years instead of?
I didn't say 7. I said several. If I did say 7, I don't know. I guess it's just gun matters.
So what do several years mean? If it's not meaning 7.
Several years, as in decades upon decades, or however old he is, because I think Bernard is his older
several
brother.
decades. That's
Huh?
it's several decades. It is then. It's not
Yeah.
several years. It's several decades.
Okay. Tomato. But it's been a long time. Longer than any of us. So you can only
I was trying to be clear because I didn't know if you were talking about a particular event, because when you said like 7,
no, I
know
know several, because that's why I told Kendall to remind. I'm gonna go into members only with 8. Because I know that situation. So that's only and Bernard was being manipulative. So and using his power. So that's just what I know. Then I was sitting there when all the stuff happened at the funeral. That guy Jimmy you interviewed, he told the exact truth line by line. I was sitting right there 4 rows back. So I can only imagine all of what Isaac has dealing with Bernard.
Absolutely. Could you imagine? I mean, if y'all, as people who've been musicians for him, mentees for him, friends for him, experience this, I can only imagine, to your point, the depth of insanity that Bishop, yielding his intellect, his cunningness, his gifted, I can only imagine how toe up Isaac's experience has been.
Yeah.
Toe up.
That.
I have a question for you that I asked to Dr. Deborah and her husband is, as it relates to Deborah, the wife, do you see her as a victim or as a co-conspirator? If you keep everything that's happened all together, is she a co-conspirator? And
you know, I like her and I honor her very much.
You like her despite that you don't even know if you believe she's a conspirator or a victim?
No, I just ain't answered that question. I know exactly what I think. I'm gonna say this: she absolutely knows that her husband has same gender loving desires. She's very clear on that. She knows it. I think we want to call her a co-conspirator because she is doing what a Black woman does. A Black woman takes care of her family, and she protects her family, and she loves her family. I don't know if right now, with the lack of information that we have, we can call her a co-conspirator. We absolutely can say she knows what is happening and she's protecting the empire and her family. I can say that. And I think that that's what she's doing. That's exactly what she's doing. And something that the man said, Anthony, and he's talking about when you meet him, you'll see what's up. I don't agree with that. Bernard.
Well, he might have been saying that to me as Consciouztv.
Like okay, yeah. Okay.
Larry was blinded by the synthetic light, but CT.
No, I wasn't. That's not even true.
CT.
Don't play on my eyes. I had to
it's another type of thing.
Play on my sight. I had to prove it to you. But he's not. This man is MPL trained, landmark, all this stuff. He knows how the frequency to put his voice to go straight to your nervous system and tell you what. I think he did have some training in hypnosis.
He absolutely did, because he uses
I
can see that he uses hypnotic techniques.
Yeah. So your average person is no match for him. Only, and I often say this, but this is go good with this. Only prophets can handle prophets. Your average person can't. He's going to get you. Yeah. He's going to the second, and that's the reason why Anthony said that there's nobody that can raise money like him, because he knows the technology and the science to get you to do
the mind, the science of the feeling, the science of the spirit. Yeah,
you gonna get it.
That's why. So when Deborah said she never understood why he classifies himself as master, I said, this is why he classifies himself as master. This is mastery This is when you have a masterful understanding.
It's not even the prophetic. It's not even the prophetic.
No.
Because there was other people that
Mm-hmm.
predicted a black president, that predicted the pandemic.
It's the way he understands the psychological.
Bro. Master.
Yeah.
And I can say this. I don't know if I know somebody more masterful at that. Mm-hmm. I could have, but if they masterful, I will be sitting here blind to it. Mm-hmm. But because of Bernard,
well,
I'm now
wise master knows not to classify themselves as a master.
Right, as I said right here, because I've had the Bernard experience. When I tell you, it ain't got to be my gift or anointing, just my experience. Mm-hmm. I can glance you and be like, it's that. Yeah. So that is an amazing gift that he has given unto all of us that he say is coming back. And
to her point was, like, are we coming back? Yeah, we came back to avenge ourselves and avenge those who've been swallowed up in this thing. He thinking we coming back to be at his feet, baby. We coming back to call you out. That's the part of the vision you forgot to see. Yeah, we coming back all right. We back here to speak the truth. We back here to pull on accountability.
You got quite a few former Zoe Ministry members in the chat that I know.
Mm-hmm. Now, are they current ministers, or are they current?
No, like they were there like decades.
Are they still there? I'm asking, are they current members?
No. They were there when I was there, but they in this chat. That's telling me they ain't in fellowship with them no more.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to call them by name?
I just found out. Conscious, I just found out 3 days ago or 2 days ago, because one of the people that was in my in my ministry was in the poem. I didn't even know. I'm doing all these super seeds for Sunday. I didn't know on Sunday names, and they had to tell me these are 10 of poem members. I said, from Zoe Ministry, yeah. I said, I wonder is that the reason why he been so vicious towards me? He's not now, but he was. Mm-hmm. Since we met, it's almost like he calmed off for me. But prior to that, the stuff he was doing behind the scenes and stuff. But I think when he met me and saw my reaction, he know Larry don't have no ill will towards me. And I told him, standing there, I said, there's some things that's going to be happening and that's going to be said, but it won't be by me. I told him that. So I'm not going to do. I told his wife. I told her. I said, what I slipped out of my mouth and said that if I go to speaking, you're going to be crying and hurt. I said, when I said that, I had just in real time heard what he had said. And I pointed at him. We're standing right there together. I said, what he said, and that made me react. And I looked at her and I said, I didn't unsay what I said. I said, I was ready to tell everything. I was this far from her. And she's really the LRL out of all of them. She knows my character. And I don't care what he say, what the children say, who say. She knows my character. And deep down inside, she is wondering. And if she's watching, the day you call me, I'm not going to tell you no lie, but I'm going to tell you everything because you deserve it.
So is she in denial because you haven't received a phone call? So is that an act of a practice of denial? Because she knows she could just call and get the unload, and she's not doing that. So what does that mean?
She's protecting. This is why I ain't calling her a co-conspirator. She's protecting her kids. She's protecting the ministry. She is protecting her husband, because our experience with him is whatever, but we don't know what this woman done went through and what she's seen. And that's
the reason why you're protecting bad, wrong, and or what could be argued to be evil or wicked. Does that determine if you are a co-conspirator or not, or is co-conspirator a co-conspirator, regardless of what you?
I don't think she know enough to be a co-conspirator.
Okay, so let's pause there, because Dr. Deborah spoke about you know, how she never even had a conversation and even a sit down with the first lady, despite all that she was even contributing to their business. And that this woman even got upset with her when Bernard, you know, wanted her to, you know, like get some
That
soup.
makes sense though, Conscious. Let me tell you something. Bernard gives the illusion of being a giver. So it's nothing for you to go out with him. She's watched men and women be taken shopping and tens of thousands of dollars used to get them into clothes. Now he'll do that and not even pay you for a service that you actually doing. But he would take you wine, dine, fly in the plane and all that stuff, but you still need the cash, but you caught up in the life. This ain't Larry, y'all, because I had my own money. Remember, I gave him $3 million. He didn't give me $3 million. Wow. So there, she's seen all of that. And that's her husband. And some of those people he bought stuff for turned around, stabbed him in the back, according to him, because that's what they tell her, used the ministry, hurt the ministry according to him. So her instinct, I can't make her a co-conspirator. She is doing what a black mother, a black wife in the church as a first lady does. And she don't know enough to be a co-conspirator. I know she don't know. She don't know what is happening and has been happening up the last few years, right up under her nose. And according to the audio we heard, in her bed.
But Larry,
man,
she's not protecting if she is aware, because we ain't even just talking about like the audio. I'm talking about like at this point, you now have multiple people and people who've been of service to the ministry who have not been paid, who've been allegedly defrauded, and I find everybody finds it almost impossible that someone as intimately tied to the ministry and to her husband does not know about the egregious things and the dynamics that are taking place, because there are a whole brawls and confrontations, for God's sakes, that are like playing out as people are being dealt wrongly. And for her to be so far,
but she's sleeping with him at night, and he's telling her how to think about it, or at least I'm saying that. But he's maybe sharing his heart. So she's gonna do the woman, the motherly, the wife thing. With you, by your own admittance, you said that he's a master in manipulation. But that means he's using that on her more than everybody.
But this is why I'm putting onus on her denial, is because, to your point, you gave her an open invitation. If you ask me, I'm gonna tell my phone is open. She ain't done that. This woman, she's proven to me that she is a denialist, and I just made that word up. A denialist, because
you might need to go.
He now knows that there are multiple people who are claiming to have heard objective audio regarding what can possibly be infidelity. I don't know if they have an open bedroom or whatever it is, and
no,
she is not informing herself as a woman first and foremost, who's sleeping with a man who is sleeping with other men, and possibly, like, God knows what that looks like on a my chart exam, and I mean, like, and you
there's a whole story about that.
So far up a man that you're not even actively concerned about your womanness first and foremost, because before you were a wife, was a woman. You are a person before you were a first lady, before you were a wife, before you were a mother. You were first and foremost a single-celled organism. And there doesn't seem to be any self-preservation for anything aside from what her husband is interested in preserving, which is the silver and gold. The humanity seems to have been completely dead in this whole thing with the both of them. And it's hard to imagine that somebody would also marry somebody who is not equally yoked to them and not like them. So in some ways, it's looking like more and more and more she is just the other side of the coin, of the same side of the coin, rather than something.
I believe in some situations she is. I mean, because I've heard people say around there that you think Bernard get on you. Deborah, she's just as rough. You know, I heard that from one of the workers. You know, so I agree with that on some level, and I fully believe she knows about her husband's same gender loving desire. However, I do not believe that she knows everything that is happening right now. So
And she ain't trying to find out. Is to my point. She's not contacting
but
me.
what about but Conscious? I know you haven't been married, but you've been in relationships. The investment you make, we're not talking about 5-year relationship. They have been together. Is it going on a 50-year anniversary? Can you? So from a teenager, she's been with this man and he's been her leader. And she had 5 kids by him. And they have went from him being a janitor to him working at the post office to him driving Rolls Royces and things. And she driving Bentleys and Rolls. Well, she don't like Rolls Royce. She had a Mercedes or Maybach, I think it was. But I don't know what she got now. But the thing is, that's an investment. So I
then don't be a woman of God. Be a capitalist. Because that's fine. As a capitalist and as an elitist, go be that. But the issue and the nuance is these people having the unmitigated audacity to align themselves with the concept of God to leverage their capitalism and to leverage and center themselves. And then we wonder why there are so many people claiming an experience of dehumanization within their midst.
Okay,
so it's fine. I don't see anything wrong with because it's because see, J and B the same thing, but they ain't out here claiming to be either holy or women and men of God. They're not claiming some inherent sense of righteousness either. They're not acting as if this virtue and spiritual hygiene is their law.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay if they're about the money. It's okay if, in the dollar we trust. That's okay. That's fine with me. Just don't connect the Lord to none of that shit. Don't connect that brand. Don't connect that conceptualization to that. Go be that, because there's a world for that, and you can go thrive in that. And look, if you did, you would also lessen the victimhood of it all.
Yeah.
This would remove the experience of victimization, actually, if you just went and came out of the closet, not as a Christian, but as a capitalist. Come out of that closet. Come out of that closet.
I actually love that, because a lot of these leaders and pastors really should do that, because they're all capitalists, Christian capitalists.
Yeah, and they vote right secretly, to Bernard's point with Trump and all that. This is who this is who a lot of them truly actually are. This is the closet they need to come out of.
Yeah. Nah, that's
from Christian to capitalist. Own it.
Yeah, Christian capitalist is what you are.
I know you can't even be. No, I don't even.
I
want to distance Jesus from that. As what
you said? What?
I want to distance Jesus as far away from what these people are and do. It's just no way to really. Because they more capitalist than Christ. That's but
what I'm saying, though, Conscious, historically, Christianity is capitalism. So you're a Christian capitalist. Western Christianity, that is. Of course, African Christianity is a little bit different. But the Christianity that's spread all over the world is capitalism. Absolutely. Let me see here. Did I lose something?
What are you trying to find?
Oh yeah, I was trying to set that thing up for
members only.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do. God, I don't want to be all night. I just want to say what I got to say. Just really processing. That's really what I create that members only for, just so I can get some stuff off of me sometimes. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
Deborah is watching her husband triangulate. She's watching her husband be messy. She's watching I know that she at the very least see the same thing that I see. Just from having simple eyes. And for there to be just kind of no active rebuke of any of this, and then she's playing alongside of being the victim, because she was in them all looking at you like you was crazy, and not her husband. She was in them all apprehensive about hugging you instead of apprehensively standing side by side to her husband, and This why I'm just like, it's
Was
award Coca Spirit. It's just because, girl, what,
yeah.
what are you doing? What?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm about to go. And
Before you go, can you raise support for the apparent person who's been who's apparently been called in to be anointed for this appearance?
Okay, listen, and this is a great day because it is the first month. That's the first space. It's an 8-day.
Because the cane worked, baby. The cane been working.
I'm trying to do it. Hush.
Okay.
Thank you. And this is a great day for seed sowing. And the reason why is because the alignment numerologically. So this is the first month of the 12-month Gregorian calendar year. So it's in the first place. Now, this day is the 8th day. The number 8 is the beginning of a new beginning. It sits between the 7. 7 is completion, closure, perfect completion. 10, which is the year that we are in, which condenses down to a 1, actually deals with a catastrophic closure. That's why 2026 is a 10 year, because it's going to be a catastrophic turning point and tipping point. Okay, so you got the 1 for January, first place. 8, every Sunday is an 8th day. It's the first day of a new beginning week. So 8 is also represents 1. On the other side, we got 2026. That comes to a 10, condenses down to a 1. So we're looking at all these ones. Tonight, what we should do in the way of giving. Now, for some of you, it may be a seed, meaning you want to call it something, you putting it down, and time going to pass, you're going to harvest something. Well, that's personal. I don't really have a seed for you tonight, but let's at least support this platform that we're getting all of this information from, and these people are trusting him to have this conversation. I'm hearing stuff, and it's impacting me. So what we should do tonight, in my opinion, we should do all 8s. And let's do $8.88. Or you can do $11.11. One of those two. So look at the Cash App. Where's it? This is running at the bottom. Yeah. And go there and do $8.88. If you're a part of my community, I'm asking you, if you can, $8.88, $11.11. If you watched, if you enjoyed the engagement, then you really sort of owe it. It'll be wrong to click off and not support it. So $8.88 or $11.11, all of that speaks to the beginning of a new beginning, or the first place. This 1 year also speaks about the founders. The founders will fade from this year to 2028 more than ever before. So founders and the leaders of works, this is your year to begin to re-envision. As a leader, calls it that 1. So you may feel to do $11.11, or you may want to do $8.88 because this is an 8th day. Either way, it's still speaking to the beginning of a new beginning, which this year is going to give us that. But because it's a 10, it's going to be happening catastrophically. All right. So if you do it, put in the chat and let me know that you have done it. Just put the word donate if you have already done. And then let me know, beside the word donate, if you've done $8.88 or $11.11.
Shout out to my baby and my auntie, Aunt Pat, for being the first.
Oh, good. Great. Pat Montgomery?
Yes.
Great. She done $8.88?
Thank you, baby. Let me see. Yes.
11.
Well, 11.11.
11, good. 11.11. Okay. So let's see if we can't tear up his Cash App. Now, if it get to where you can't receive and call be so many, you got to quickly go in there and change it to business, because they'll start sending back.
It's already a business.
Oh, so you good. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I mentor you. Yeah, so you already you already got it.
I also don't see a phone in your hand doing any transfers yourself.
No, I don't feel led. I'm playing. I do apples. And so, oh my God. Let me say, Larry's still at grabbing money. Yes. And I would like your money and send it to Consciouztv. I love money, and money loves me so much. So this is one of my giftings and abilities, is to tell you what you should do with your money so that you can get some more. And investing in someone that has invested their time in you is only right to do. Yeah.
And let me just say this: I only love what I work for.
I know that's right.
But I'm working, as long as I'm working, baby. I love it, and it loves me.
Yeah.
So the people
exactly. Look what Lachey said to the SS Scott. Do you eat anywhere free? They said we got to get rid of that in our community. I don't know why we got a
They
problem.
ain't got no Wi-Fi for free. They ain't got no cable for free. Ain't got no food for free. Ain't got no light for free. And look,
yes, it's Davion. Somebody says Davion. Is that correct?
No, it's Davion.
I mean, you know what I mean. She's about when she put up the Cash App. Davion. I never say your name right. That's why I say
Davion, and it's spelled exactly. It's Consciouztv on Cash App. It's spelled exactly like how it is on the channel. Yes, and Davion. It should have my I'm probably gonna change my emoji.
Larry must have used to be a car salesman. Actually, I sold vacuum cleaners, and I was the top one in North Carolina. Thank you. I make about $1,500 a pop.
$1,500 a pop.
Thank you, Nancy, for doing $11.11.
Oh, is Kendall in the chat? Thank you, Kendall.
Boy, $11.11. Denise, $11.11. Thank y'all.
I know Maka in here somewhere hiding.
He might be. He might be asleep. Let me see, because he ain't saying nothing else.
Early for him to sleep. He do go to bed early though. But it's only 8:49.
Well, he got a lot of prophecies too.
Yeah, he had a lot of work to do. Thank you, CTV, for your open and pure heart and for all. Look, how would you look? Should I interview a Bernard himself?
Why not? Absolutely. If he ain't gonna do it, but yeah.
And why wouldn't he do it?
You have a Zelle. Somebody asking for your Zelle.
No, I only have a PayPal, and I need to get a Zelle and Apple Pay and all that
really need a I'm gonna tell you what you do. Says I used to be his mentor, y'all.
Oh God.
Send Stripe link. And when it's time for them, just drop the link. They can use their Apple Pay, their Cash App, they can use everything, and it comes straight to your account.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna send that to you. That has been a blessing for me. I moved everything to Stripe.
Well, you don't move a lot of stuff. I be getting the NBN network emails.
I don't know what the NBN network
a lot of things
is.
Different.
I don't know what the NBN network corp is. I don't know what that is. That's my old ministry.
Oh, that's the old ministry. Okay.
Yeah, we're not even called that anymore.
26 ministry.
Right. No, it was actually my ministry name from 1996 from 1995 to 2025.
The era.
Yeah, it's done. I say, all that energy from all them years still operate up under the same EIN number and all. No, let's spend that. And we did. And plus it gave us more control of the leftover debt for the ministry as well.
He ain't sleep, honey. He working for the new network.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he is working. And we got a lot. And that's a good problem. We want more of that. Hear me, universe. We want more and more of that. Yeah. But yeah, I've been hired by a new company. The name of the company is NBN Network Global. And so that is who I'm working with now.
Nice.
Yeah. Because doing that also, we didn't even know it when we went to, it gave us control of, because the NBN Corp, the old people just wanted something new, something like opening a new business, like we're going to go over here, and I'm encouraging them to, if they felt. And so we don't have, eventually I want to totally dissolve it, but because of business and we had a few loans, that come to about $280,000. We got to work that out. We're working that out through the courts and a predatory company. But business loan is as it is. People start businesses and have to start over and over again. So we
Absolutely.
are so excited about just starting something new
Yeah.
and doing something totally different. I see in the chat Latina 888, Shamaka 1111, Hooked Head Music at 1111.
Mm-hmm.
I see it.
Thank y'all so much. Hooked Head Music. 11. A lot of people doing under 11, baby. That 11. Yes.
Yeah.
And you can take it wherever the Lord tell y'all to take it to. I know the Larry, he gave 888, 1111. If the Lord tell you to get 1,000, you can 1,500.
But the Lord ain't got to tell them if they got it. If they got it,
and
if they got it and just want to be nice.
If you just feel compelled, baby, because it can't get for you at that level. Oh yes, baby, you can do that. Yes, God. So Dr. Reed, before you get to members only, because we are about to head into members
only. Y'all see
how
this kind of Conscious do on the phone. He don't let me go. Lord, I'm about to do it again. Send this to that.
Yes, hold on. Put your glasses on. Put them on your face. Can I tell them what you did for Christmas?
I posted it.
Oh, you did? Do y'all know?
No, I posted it. The mistake.
Dr. Reed.
Don't tell them your gift. You just tell them my mistake.
Well, I don't know how to tell them the mistake.
My God.
Yeah, you got to tell it then, because I don't even know how to tell it without.
I just say this. I made a mistake the other day and cashed out somebody like 6 figures and counting behind the decimal. So what would that be? 4 figures? For more than $900.
Yeah.
And just sent it out. Oh my God. And it's just
Did you ever get
no, because I'm reading the comment section. Somebody thought I put her face and everything up there from the Cash App, and somebody told me that
you did that.
Somebody said she passed. Yes, on my Facebook said she passed, but then I read it the day, and they got her mixed up with somebody else. But nobody had. But somebody did call the office today, a woman, and said I can't speak, but nobody but Larry live and left up on them. So that might have been her. I don't know, but I haven't heard nothing from her. No.
Okay, somebody going to war with Kendall in the chat. I don't know what is going down. Something is going. I just glanced over and something is going down. I don't know what is. Something going down between a Kendall and LM706.
You already got this person. This person trying to be like you, money hungry and all this.
Oh, okay. They said I'm money hungry. I am. Yes, 100%. That is not a rumor. I absolutely am hungry for money, and I love money, and money loves me. What you say, money?
I'm going to say that.
Money LRM 706. Money said, "Don't know your ass."
Money hungry for me, baby. Okay.
Oh my God.
A lot going on. So what's about to go down for the people who are not in members only? You finna go into members only.
You might have made me get it out. I just somebody need to talk.
You just went through all that to set it up. Go ahead and get up in it.
But I don't even know. Oh, did you write down what I said it was? Okay, well, yeah, I go because Kendall wrote down. He wrote down some stuff. So yeah, I do that.
So as of right now, I mean, you just don't think. I mean, I know you don't want to, and you're still in that place of not wanting to.
Sure am.
Interesting.
Yep. I don't want to. I don't want to do this. I left November 2024, and I said I didn't understand it. I cried for some days, and I did it, and I didn't know why. Now we all see, but y'all ought to be tired of me being right all the time. Because sometimes I'm like, I ought to be wrong one good time so I can apologize. Now y'all see, it was the Lord that spoke to you and told you. That show you right there how loyal and loving I am. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, how Bernard can't be a fit for my future and where I'm going? And my heart loved them. But I knew what was up. I had to follow that spirit that was talking to me. The ancestors was not playing. They joked and said the ancestors told them and not God. it was actually the concerted effort of the ancestors, angels, and the Holy Ghost to get me away from your ass because I loved you.
Oh, speaking of that, that's what I wanted to ask you. So, you know, I've asked Jeremy, aka Jimmy Singletary. I've asked Dr. Deborah and her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So, with this conversation, all y'all agree that he is gifted in prophecy. Everybody, you know, agrees to that. So then, what is your interpretation of his of you returning to him? What does that mean to you?
It's just what he thinks. It's what they say. I've heard them say that about everybody, even Reverend Run and stuff. You know, it's just what they say. I come from a line of prophets, so I'm very used to accurate prophets that predict things and tell your thoughts and everything. So I wasn't mesmerized by that when it came to Bernard. Not even when I seen him, I was younger watching BET. I'm not mesmerized by that because I know and I understand that. And so what I was more connected to was who he was as a person that he allowed me to see and just ignored anything else I saw. And also his wisdom. The wisdom thing was biggest to me. Because in regular conversation with regular stuff, his point of view will make you be like, let me consider that. At least it was like that for me. And maybe it was like that for me because he was meant to mentor me those years. But I paid attention to how he showed up in spaces and his wisdom surround just regular stuff. So that was what was mesmerizing to me.
Did you put a members only in the wrong place? Aunt Pat says a move a members only. Did you put it?
No, when I'm advertising members only, I always let it sit as public.
Oh, okay.
And then I change it on the back end to members only. I've noticed doing that gets me more signups. So I've been doing that. Yeah.
Deborah Jordan. Aries phone line is still open, baby. And them audios are available to you. So would you give her those audios?
Say it again now? No.
Oh, you wouldn't give her the audio?
Yeah.
Would you allow her to hear it?
Yes. She has to come where I'm at.
Is that not the same difference?
No.
I mean, because she can record what she's listening to.
No, she won't.
She can.
She can, but she won't be able to.
She won't be able to record what she's listening to?
She won't. Trust me. Because she can be sitting there in front of me half naked where I can see if she got her phone anything. And she ain't gonna do nothing.
And that she definitely ain't hearing them audios. But I don't know how she feel about being half naked.
Not gonna happen. I'm gonna be
she ain't Jamal Bryant's wife, baby. She said, I ain't Jamal Bryant, I don't know nothing about being half naked.
Yeah.
What did you think about the dress while you here? Like, is the dress a problem for a Christian lady, for a first lady Christian woman or not?
Okay, now you're making a nuance.
Yep.
Ain't nothing wrong with the dress and her wearing the dress with her man. However, she is a first lady, so I think this was a bit calculated.
But from your perspective, is it? But from your perspective, was it appropriate for a first lady who's married to a pastor who runs?
In my world, yes. In their world, no.
Yes, in your world, no. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Are we moving on to members only?
Yes, I gotta go right now because I'm getting late and I took one gummy and I want to go over there.
Y'all. All right, so we're heading over to Dr. Reed's members only, you guys. Dr. Reed, I will see you in a minute.
All right, I see you. Bye.
Okay. That was Dr. Reed, you guys. Riveting, compelling show. Shout out to Dr. Deborah and her husband Anthony. Shout out to Jimmy, aka Jeremy. Oh, is it Jeremy or James Singletary? James, not Jeremy. Okay. Now I'm calling him Jimmy too. Jimmy Singletary. Okay. Shout out to everybody. Isaac Jordan did drop down in my chat. Once again, my email is available in the description box of every video, and it is the channel's name at gmail.com. That's where anybody can contact me. Please follow me on all social medias. As we move through the conversation. The conversation will be had, you guys. Tell me what you guys think about tonight, what you guys think about all of this. And can you guys actually try to have an opinion about like everything? Because some of y'all are so obsessed with like Larry. Even when the conversation centers other people, y'all will bring it back to Larry. That, you know, I'm not sure if you need a little red couch to deal with that. But, you know, have a conversation that centers the Jordans, because that's what the conversations are centered about. When they're centered about Larry, we can talk about Larry. When they're centering other people, let's center other people. Okay? Because some of y'all, baby, really, really, really got a strong heart on. Like, real powerful heart on, girl. Okay? For Larry. Okay, leave it all in the comment section. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for all of the donations. I will thank you guys tomorrow when we come back into the stream, because we got some things to get into right now. If you're not in Dr. Reed's members only, please sign up. I think it's only $5. It's $4.99 a month. Go to his channel, and it'll allow you to become a member from there. And depending on what he says in there, I'll be bringing it back to you guys on the public platform anyway. Okay, so tune in. Keep your notifications on, and I will see you guys later. And I love you all. Peace.